114 win over the Bulls. Blackhawks fell to the Oilers 5-3. The news service of Mattress Firm. Save big at Mattress Firm's President's Day sale. Get a king bed for a queen price or a queen for a twin price for savings of up to $600. Plus, get a free adjustable base with a purchase of just $4.99. Shop and save big right now. 5:07, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager doesn't see fair elections from the DNC.
My only agenda on this issue is to figure out how do we have honest elections. The Democrats do not want honest elections, in my opinion. They are opposed to the idea that you must identify yourself when you vote. The most solemn thing that is done in a free country you can do without an ID.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Andrea Kashaba, owner of Tulane & Associates, an accounting and tax service in Elk Grove Village. If you're a small business, feeling snubbed or overcharged by your current accounting firm, I invite you to give us a try. You shouldn't have to feel overlooked by your current tax accountant because you're a small business. Small businesses and individuals are my specialty. I will always treat you and your business with respect, and we'll take care of as much or as little as you'd like us to do. From payroll to sales taxes, financial statements to business and personal taxes, projections, or bookkeeping services. Call Tulane & Associates at 847-952-1510 or visit TulaneandAssociates.com. That's THULIN, Tulane & Associates. Get a no-cost 1-hour initial consultation that could change the way you do business. Call 847-952-1510. That's 847-952-1510.
Is your company prepared for an emergency? Are your employees trained in CPR? Would they know what to do if another employee needed basic first aid, or worse yet, suffered a sudden cardiac arrest on the job? It's estimated that over 400,000 lives are lost every year in the United States to this killer. But sudden cardiac arrest is also one of the most preventable causes of death. Call Cardiac Rescue Systems today and arm yourself with the tools necessary to treat a first aid victim or prevent heart attack or cardiac arrest from needlessly taking lives. We offer great pricing on AEDs and CPR first aid training. Our certified professional trainers will come right to your business and train on site. Call Cardiac Rescue Systems today for a free quote at 630-541-5469 or check us out online at cardiacrescue.com. That's cardiacrescue.com. Cardiac Rescue Systems. Call today. Lives depend on it.
Did you know Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year? Plus, Discover is accepted at over 95% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2019 Nielsen Report limitations apply.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
5:10. And in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center this morning, here's Jim Talamonte.
Good Wednesday morning. Right now, roads look pretty good in and around Chicago. Some weather will be coming in this afternoon and this evening, the south and east especially. Right now, it's pretty clear sailing. The Edens Expressway is fine. So is the Kennedy. Outbound, the entrance from Foster is set to reopen after an overnight closure. On Eisenhower, the ramp to the outbound Kennedy has been closed. Reopening shortly. No delays to report on the Ike. Stevenson looks good. No issues on the Ryan. I-57. The inbound exit to westbound 167th just now reopening. Bishop Ford fine. Traffic's pretty light on the tollways. There's no issues right now on I-80 or in northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Jim, thank you. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here is our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, mostly cloudy skies, a bit of snow this afternoon, little or no accumulation, high 38. Snow tonight, 2 to 4 inches expected, low 20. Cloudy, cold, snow and flurries tomorrow, another 1 to 2 on the way, the high 24. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
25 at O'Hare, 24 Lakefront, 26 Midway, and 24 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
The land of chocolate.
Oh, for Valentine's Day, get your significant other tickets for the Chocolate, Wine, and Spirits Expo. Sample artisan chocolates, wines, liqueurs, spirits, while experiencing pairings from chefs and chocolatiers across Chicago. The expo includes free parking, and proceeds go to the Chicago Canine Rescue. And right now, AM 560 is giving away 5 pairs of tickets to the Chocolate, Wine, and Spirits Expo. Register to win at 560theanswer.com/giveaway. That's 560theanswer.com/giveaway.
Networks of the future are here now. Game-changing serverless networks with technology that's finally ready for prime time. Turnkey IT is ready to set up your business, increase productivity, save you money, and a lot of headaches. Imagine not having to purchase or maintain a local server in your building and continue using all the tools you rely on with Microsoft 365. Everything is in one place on the Office 365 cloud platform with all files and folders stored, backed up, and ready to be shared securely within your organization. Can your business go serverless? Turnkey IT can get you started with a free 5-point assessment to determine if your business qualifies, and it only takes about 2 minutes. Visit turnkey.pro today to speak with one of their team members to find out more and join the growing number of companies using the Microsoft 365 platform now.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
My name is Demi, and I did my first home purchase with Townstone Financial. The biggest difference between Townstone and the bigger banks that we went to was that at Townstone, Barry was really straightforward. He ran the numbers, and he made it happen. With the bigger banks, I feel like they kept giving me a runaround. We didn't have a lot of money in our checking and savings. Townstone Financial was the only bank that we reached out to that was able to find us a program that worked for us.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
This is Michael Medved for Town Hall. Big winners in the 2020 Academy Awards illustrated a possible reaction by Oscar voters to widespread criticism of white male domination of the nominations. In the end, the most prestigious non-acting awards left white males shut out. Parasite, a brutal dark comedy from Korea with no whites in the cast, swept Best Picture, Best International Film, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Director. In another surprise, Best Adapted Screenplay went to Jojo Rabbit and Taika Waititi, who identifies as Maori, the indigenous people of New Zealand. Such choices may silence angry accusations of lack of diversity, while the Parasite sweep illustrates an odd tendency to honor films with modest domestic box office receipts. Hollywood elites seem determined to show they're neither racist nor mercenary, even at the expense of slighting more worthy artistic achievements. I'm Michael Medved.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So the Bolshevik wins New Hampshire with the mannequin in a close second. And
my lady, Amy.
This is your lady now.
Hello, America. Hi. I'm Amy Klobuchar, and I will beat Donald Trump.
She had to reintroduce herself because a lot of people didn't know who she really was. And now, she's not just
Amy Klobuchar,
the president of the PTA or in charge of a bake sale.
She's the one playing Rachel Dratch in this election, right?
Exactly.
There were also kudos to Amy Klobuchar's surge to third-place finish from Elizabeth Warren in only the most contrived way you would expect from an Elizabeth Warren.
And I also want to congratulate my friend and colleague, Amy Klobuchar, for showing just how wrong the pundits can be when they count a woman out.
Well, they're not wrong in counting you out, are they, Beth?
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, how she backs up to New Hampshire, and she got a dismal single-digit fourth-place lead.
Here's the other problem for Elizabeth Warren. She's running out of Champaign socialist suburban housewives as you move to Nevada and South Carolina. Where's her constituency? She's running out of women running around in activewear with Starbucks before they go to the polls.
You know what I was thinking yesterday? She can't drink enough beers to get herself higher up in the polls.
Well, that's one of the reasons she's fallen is because of just those contrivances. But she's not going anywhere. She's not yanging it quite yet. In fact, she made time for a little lecture on party unity and harsh tactics.
But the fight between factions in our party has taken a sharp turn in recent weeks, with ads mocking other candidates and with supporters of some candidates shouting curses at other Democratic candidates. These harsh tactics might work if you are willing to burn down the rest of the party in order to be the last man standing. They might work if you don't worry about leaving our party and our politics worse off than how you found it. And they might work if you think only you have all the answers and only you are the solution to all our problems. But if we're going to beat Donald Trump in November, we are going to need huge turnout within our party. And to get that turnout, we will need a nominee that the broadest coalition of our party feels like they can get behind.
And it ain't you, sister.
Oh, it was her, according to her. But, of course, speaking of burning down the whole party, how about burning down the whole country?
Now, our campaign is not just about beating Trump. It is about transforming this country.
No. Okay. Well, Bernie's, everybody expected him to win, but Mayor Pete did really well. He and Bernie leave New Hampshire with the same amount of delegates. And I heard this, Dan, yesterday, and I thought of you.
Vulnerable Americans do not have the luxury of pursuing ideological purity over an inclusive victory.
So here's the thing about Manick and Pete with Bloomberg in the offing. My sense of it right now is that we'll take the socialism, but we don't need the socialist. I mean, the self-avowed one. We need the flim-flammer, much like we did it in 2008 with somebody talking about there are no red states, there are no blue states. Manchurian candidate for the radical left, Obama 1.0. Manick and Pete got a sort of very similar in terms of profile and political attributes for his party. Will be the Manchurian candidate for the radical left 2.0. That's how this is shaking out right now. It may end up, as much as people are talking about, and we've talked about it in this show, who's going to be the foil for Bernie? Which mayor will it be? What if it comes down to two mayors? The one from South Bend and the one from New York City.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. You know who bowed out of New Hampshire early? Joe Biden.
Yeah, he was in South Carolina to deliver remarks about Nevada.
Yeah, are you ready for this?
We need to hear from Nevada and South Carolina and Super Tuesday states and beyond. And look, we're moving in an especially important phase because up till now, we haven't heard from the most committed constituency of the Democratic Party, the African-American community.
How about the black vote?
And the fastest growing segment of society, the Latino community. I want y'all to think of a number, 99.9%. That's the percentage of African-American voters who have not yet had a chance to vote in America. One more number, 99.8. That's the percent of Latino voters who haven't had a chance to vote. So when you hear all these pundits and experts, cable TV talkers talked about the race, tell them it ain't over, man. We're just getting started.
Okay, man. All right, dude.
You down with me, dude? No more malarkey, man.
So yeah, that's all well and true. So we'll see, because Joe, you have 2 weeks.
Well,
and by the way, you just put yourself on a 2-week clock, because once you hear on February 22nd, and by the way, that is a caucus format there, dog, soldier, pony boy, whatever the hell you're talking. That's a caucus in Nevada. I know, caucuses are different animals than primaries, and that was your excuse for Iowa. Well, Nevada's a caucus as well, so we'll see how you do. And South Carolina's the 29th. So you got 2 weeks.
But he wanted to be loved. Just love me, Dan.
I hope you love me as much as I love you guys.
Listen to this.
I've been coming here a long time. When I die, I want to be reborn in Charleston, actually. I like the low country, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, dude, man.
Did you hear his creepy laugh? He did that to a
I want to be, if I die, I want to be reborn in insert town I'm in here. Mark in the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. I think Bernie was the loser last night. He got half of the votes that he got in 2016.
No.
I understand a lot more candidates brought in.
Yeah.
But I think his base is overblown. I think in 2016 he was the beneficiary of an anti-Clinton vote more so than a pro-Bernie's vote.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mark. I think there may be something to that. I mean, we talked about this before on this show about his sort of high floor, low ceiling. Can he actually convert the voters of other candidates as the field consolidates? That's a question. It was interesting, this piece in USA Today. Jason Sattler, who is apparently a member of the USA Today's esteemed board of contributors. Yeah, oh boy. Moderate Democrats have a duty to consider Sanders. He has a clear path to beating Trump. If you believe in saving democracy, the courts, and the planet, nothing less than that, and reversing the unrepentant cruelty, corruption, and carelessness that define the current administration, you have a duty to at least consider the candidacy of the most popular senator in America and the top fundraiser in Democrat primaries, the man who has generally beaten Trump in head-to-head polls for 5 years now. That's the argument for Bernie, that he can win, and this is why those who are supporting candidates who ostensibly can't win need to consider Bernie, even if they would rather have a prettier package on socialism than Bernie Sanders offers.
Some other breaking news yesterday. It's with a heavy heart. We let you know that Andrew Yang has dropped out of
the math doesn't work.
We have touched and improved millions of lives and moved this country we love so much in the right direction. And while there is great work left to be done, I am the math guy, and it is clear tonight from the numbers that we are not going to win this race.
Oh, no.
I am not someone who wants to accept donations and support in a race that we will not win. And so tonight, I am announcing I am suspending my campaign for president.
Yang actually seems like he's a decent enough guy. He's just misguided. And by the way,
well, he's in way over. He's in the deep end with a 10-pound weight on his foot.
Don't give yourself nicknames. We'll let you know if we consider you the math guy. Also, this is our time to not. I don't want to remark on it. What? I just want to go to break with a moment of silence to think about, reflect on the candidacy of United States Senator Michael Bennet. Yeah, reflect on that.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Score 18 Indoor Golf in Naperville offers the ultimate indoor golf simulation experience in Illinois, perfect for beginners and seasoned golfers. Score 18 lets you play 150,000 of the most popular courses in the world in beautiful 4K reality. Watch your ball fly in real time, exactly as it would on the course, including exact distance, trajectory, launch speed, and a diagram showing you your club's head's position through impact. Score 18 Indoor Golf also offers custom installations in your home or business from start to finish, including all permits and build-outs to make your home or business the best you can imagine. No project is too big, and Score 18 will travel to you to make your indoor golf dream become a reality. Discounts available for seniors and military. And Score 18 has a playable 19th hole with a full food and drink menu available. For more information on the most incredible, realistic indoor golf experience in Illinois, visit score18indoorgolf.com. That's score18indoorgolf.com.
All right, so I'm 4 weeks in of taking Balance of Nature again, and I have to tell you, I went to my dermatologist yesterday, and she said, your skin looks fantastic. Your hair's thicker. What's going on? What are you taking? I said, I'm actually taking Balance of Nature, and I'm doing it to try to boost my immune system, but, it has other benefits, too, because if you eat healthy, you can be healthy. Boost your immune system, and that means taking charge of your health, and that means getting Balance of Nature, because admit it, you're not getting enough fruits and veggies on your own. So what you do is take 6 capsules a day. With that, you're getting 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies. And right now, you should make a commitment to 2020 for a better year of health for yourself. Balance of Nature offering free shipping and 35% off any new preferred orders of your fruits and veggies. So start your journey to better health today by calling 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago. Or simply go to balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results vary. Exclusions apply.
Contacts and glasses are such a hassle. I'd love to finally get LASIK, but
I'm going to stop you right there. If you want LASIK, then the LASIK Vision Institute has officially taken away everything standing in your way.
Isn't LASIK expensive?
Not at the LASIK Vision Institute. We're offering dramatically low prices, as low as $220 per eye, and an absolutely free consultation. See for free if LASIK is right for you by texting LIKE to 350-350.
But I'm really busy.
A text only takes seconds. The LASIK procedure typically only takes 15 minutes, and most patients can get back to work the following day. The LASIK Vision Institute uses the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for as little as $220 per eye. Dr. Greenberg has performed 75,000 laser eye surgeries and is one of the most experienced LASIK surgeons in Chicago.
What's that text again?
Text LIKE to 350-350. That's LIKE to 350-350 to schedule your free consultation today.
If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, then you need to call Team Hochberg. Today, meet Don and Claire living in a $400,000 home in Chicago. Team Hochberg loan officer Kevin Kochman helped Don and Claire secure their mortgage when they purchased their home in 2015 with 5% down. Property values are up and rates are down, so Kevin helped them refinance, remove their PMI, and save them over $260 a month. Let's review. Team Hochberg helped Don and Claire secure a mortgage in 2015 with only 5% down and just refinanced their home, removed their private mortgage insurance, and saved them over $3,000 a year. If you'd like to remove your PMI and substantially reduce your monthly payment, call Team Hochberg now at 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg helped Don and Claire as well as thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial Legal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
AM 560, The Answer.
And Dan, just so you know, Deval Patrick, he's weighing his future as a presidential candidate. He's going to make an announcement later today.
I can't wait. Bated breath. We'll take that live, I presume.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Let's go to court. Jussie Smollett indicted. What does it mean for Kim Foxx in that state's attorney's race at 5:38?
And how Kim Foxx is being compared to James Comey, please. And later, Target is seeing red. Love this story. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
25 degrees, thin clouds, and firefighters working right now to contain a massive blaze at an oil refinery in Louisiana, the ExxonMobil refinery in Baton Rouge. Waking up victorious, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders projected as the winner of the New Hampshire primary by Fox News.
And let me say tonight that this victory here is the beginning of the end for Donald Trump.
Sanders besting former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
With Americans living under an unaccountable president who will cut taxes for corporations and then cut Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security for the rest of us, we must get this right.
Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, a surprising third.
So many of us believe that the heart of America is bigger than the heart of this guy in the White House.
Now that entrepreneur Andrew Yang has dropped out of the Democrat presidential race, there's speculation this morning he could announce soon for New York City mayor. Colorado Senator Michael Bennet also dropped out of the race. President Donald Trump had an easy path to first place in the New Hampshire Republican primary. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer blasting the Department of Justice for what he called meddling in the sentencing of President Trump confidant Roger Stone. Speaking with reporters yesterday, the New York Democrat said the president seems to think the entire Department of Justice is his to use.
Rule of law in this grand tradition in this wonderful Justice Department is just being totally perverted to Donald Trump's own personal desires and needs, and it's a disgrace.
The DOJ announced it would reconsider sentencing guidelines for Stone. 4 prosecutors have resigned. Jussie Smollett isn't out of the legal woods yet. The former Empire actor indicted yesterday by a Cook County grand jury on 6 counts of disorderly conduct, accusing him of staging a hate crime. Smollett claimed he was attacked by 2 men who yelled racist and homophobic slurs at him. All of those charges were later dropped by embattled Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx. Reverend Otis Moss was part of a group of African-American pastors who endorsed Foxx yesterday.
We will not allow a special prosecutor to bring down a sister who has been working very hard for criminal justice reform.
The new indictment was brought by Special Prosecutor Dan Webb, appointed to investigate problems with the way how the office of Foxx bungled that case. The coronavirus outbreak continues to grow. On a cruise ship docked off Yokohama, Japan, 39 more are sickened. American Airlines is suspending more flights to and from China and Hong Kong. The Texas-based air carrier announced yesterday there is not enough demand to justify flights until late April. An investigation this morning continues after gunshots were fired at a home in Round Lake Park, causing a soft lockdown at an elementary school across the street. And Peapod will stop delivering groceries in the Chicago area next week. The company, which began in Evanston in 1989, is ending its online grocery delivery service in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Indiana. Next Tuesday, they will focus on markets where they have a strong market share. Number 23, Illinois rallied from 20 down, but still fell to unranked Michigan State in Champaign, 70-69. Wizards beat the Bulls, Blackhawks over the Oilers, and White Sox. Pitchers and catchers reporting today in Glendale. 5:34. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity responds to the president's State of the Union.
We live in the greatest country God gave man. There's never been a country in the history of mankind that has ever accumulated more power and used it to advance the entire human condition than the United States. That's freedom. That's America. This is the country we live in. This is the people that we are.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Steve Cortez at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
A business needs to be built on a great foundation, one with the framework of integrity and tradition. Chapel Design Build delivers just that, providing design build and general contracting services using Butler Steel Building Systems. Their projects dot the landscape from O'Hare to DeKalb. You see their work in office and warehouse additions, recreational facilities, large-scale distribution centers, and manufacturing plants all over northern Illinois. Partnering with Butler Steel Buildings, Chapel Design Build has developed an extensive subcontractor base and valuable market knowledge to get your quality-built project completed on time and on budget, ensuring your project is a success for your business and one that you will be proud of for years to come. The goal is to build lasting relationships with their clients using buildings that last from Butler. Get started on your next building project built with Butler Steel. Visit chapeldb.com. That's Chapel D as in design, B as in build.com.
Feel better and look better with the Vein Center of Orland Park. Whether you're seeking treatment for varicose veins, spider veins, or facial spider veins, Dr. Kiefner at the Vein Center of Orland Park is the vein specialist to see. The Vein Center of Orland Park is a specialty vein center offering the latest in vein treatments for your vein problems. It's Dr. Kiefner's private medical practice with over 30 years diagnosing and treating vein-related disorders for men and women. Dr. Kiefner is one of the most experienced vein specialists in the United States. Schedule an appointment today and see for yourself at veincop.com or call 708-460-8800. That's 708-460-8800.
This is Dr. Kiefner. With our experience treating vein disorders, I'm confident we can help you. Visit us at veincop.com, veincop.com, or call 708-460-8800. I look forward to seeing you.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
5:36 in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
At the moment, travel conditions are looking good, and it's a pretty smooth start to the Wednesday morning commute. For now, there is some boarding construction on the Veterans Memorial Tollway, 355 northbound, past St. Charles to the Army Trail Toll. It's a left lane closure scheduled until 6 o'clock this morning. The other tollways are wide open right now. We see no issues at all on the Edens. Traffic flows nicely on the Kennedy. Express lanes are open inbound. The Eisenhower's fine, so is the Stevenson. No delays of significance to report yet on the Ryan or I-57. Bishop Ford traffic is getting a little heavy approaching the merge. Skyway, wide open. Lakeshore Drive looks good. No problems to report for now. I-80 or in northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Alamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cloudy. Well, the big snow begins this afternoon with a little bit of snow. High 38, 2 to 4 inches overnight. Untreated roads will be snowpacked and slippery, of course. Low of 20. Tomorrow, cold, snowy, 1 to 2 inches, mostly in the morning. High 24 and a low tomorrow night of 1 above. It's 25 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kobaba. Every Saturday morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So can Fox and Friends survive the indictment of that French actor, hat tip Dave Chappelle, who visited Chicago's MAGA country? Can they survive? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Jesse Smollett, as Mike Scott was reporting, indicted on 6 counts of disorderly conduct. You're basically looking at misdemeanor charges, more community service, more cash and prizes for the county, but and a reckoning. I mean, definitely a reckoning for the hoax that he perpetrated on the city and the nation with the help of the media in the initial days. But a bit of a reckoning nonetheless. Kim Fox and her allies calling out the timing of this.
I think the question about how the case was disposed of is the question that people have. We have an obligation to be transparent in everything that we do. And we dropped the ball in our transparency in the way that we handled this case.
Yeah, she was at a Reverend's breakfast event, and that's when they found out that he's been recharged, and kind of took her, the questions. She was a little off guard about it, but she didn't answer directly about the new charges.
Well, why would she?
She danced around it.
Why would she? She said, look, I made a mistake. Mistakes were made. I own that. So you've got television commercials to that effect. I own it. But
if she wins after this, I might move out of Cook County.
What do you mean if she wins? What do you mean?
Because I hope the people of Cook County will wake the you-know-what up. We cannot reelect her. She doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
She gives personal favors to friends and to Hollywood stars.
Excuse me. I'm citing no less an authority than the Chicago Sun-Times editorial board when I say...
Yes.
Yes, Fox bungled the Jesse Smollett case, but, quote, we endorse her all the same. It would be an injustice to allow a single high-profile mistake to overshadow her accomplishments.
Well, she's a lying sack of two. You know why? Because she kept telling us and the people, well, we've dropped similar cases in the past like this. Well, guess what? Dan Webb came out yesterday. He didn't speak to the media, but in his statement said that he was unable to find similar past cases used to set Smollett free.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a big problem.
Again,
and people inside her office were saying,
again, she bungled the case. How could you let one high-profile mistake overshadow her accomplishments? That's the Chicago Sun-Times. The Chicago Sun-Times that also didn't let some mistakes that Rod Blagojevich made prevent them from endorsing him for re-election in his second run for governor when he was under federal investigation. You see, this is the Chicago mentality. I mean, I guess to some extent in certain quarters, nicely memorialized by the Chicago Sun-Times. These are that mistake. It's just, I own it. I could have handled it better. We failed on the transparency count. You just heard her say yesterday, how much more contrition must she show for you to get past this and embrace Kim Foxx and all that she is doing to make Cook County family safer?
So Kim Foxx wouldn't answer the question directly. So that is where Pastor Otis Moses III took to the lectern, Dan, to explain how this is political targeting, because this is similar to what James Comey had to go through.
Attorney Fox's office charged Jussie Smollett, and it's very interesting that Dan Webb, at this moment, as we are about a month away from an election, is now offering charges. This seems very similar to when James Comey intervened in reference to the national election. And so we are seeing at this moment some politicization of this particular election.
Yeah.
It's the timing.
That's who's politicizing elections in Cook County is Dan Webb. Dan Webb, who, by the way, was a Kim Foxx campaign donor.
He was.
I argued he should have recused himself from being the special investigator in this case, but, who am I to apply the canons to the legal community in Chicago?
Well, he didn't do any favors for her in this report.
John Cass writing about this in the Chicago Tribune. I get it. Per Reverend Moss's comments. Trump made you talk to Tina Chen. Trump made you drop all the charges against Smollett. It's all orange bad man. Obviously, Fox and friends are counting on the idiocracy of Cook County to save her, but it seems pathetic and desperate, and it slaps voters in the mouth. Any Democratic politician who now comes to Fox's aid will look like someone who thinks that voters are idiots, and they're not, according to John Cass. And, then he asks a number of pertinent questions about Fox, and she's changed her story on the Smollett case. First, she recused herself because of these ex parte conversations with Obama World. Tina Chen, Michelle Obama's former chief of staff. Maybe Michelle Obama, we don't
know, because a lot was redacted from those text messages.
But then she changed her story last summer and said, no, I recused myself because there were these rumors going around that I was related to Jussie Smollett, and I didn't want those rumors to cloud the investigation and the adjudication.
And
of the
by
case.
recusing herself, she just gave it to somebody else in her same office, which is not really recusal.
Right,
You need to give it to a separate prosecutor in a different county.
Well, it should have been a full office recusal. Exactly right. But again, Kim Foxx, and in her defense, I'll let her speak in the prepackaged television commercials you've seen.
Black, white, or brown. Coming here to flee violence or growing up here poor, surrounded by it. Truth is, we all share in the struggle against poverty and violence. That's why, as state's attorney, I took on the NRA to block the sale of assault weapons and sued Donald Trump on behalf of immigrant families to protect their access to health care and housing. Because taking on violence and hate is the only way we'll all be safe.
Give it tissue over there.
And Bill Conway,
Yeah.
the guy, the television candidate.
I love it, the television.
What's his position? The last commercial I saw from him is him blathering on about taking on the NRA too, as if sport rifles are the problem, the proximate cause of the violence in Chicago. These are not serious people. So you're going to switch out
popularity contest.
You're not going to switch. You're going to switch out Kim Foxx for who exactly?
I don't know. I'm looking at Bob Fioretti. I'm looking at Donna Moore. I'm looking at anybody.
Well,
anybody. And then on the Republican side, we have
Christopher Fancook.
Christopher
Who's
Fancook.
actually a 30-year prosecutor. Who's actually perhaps the only person in the race actually qualified to do the job. And of course, he has no chance because he's a Republican and he doesn't have any money. But what you pointed out, just going through the names of the competitors on the Democrat side, is the problem. You have the anti-Fox vote split among 3 contenders.
Oh, and then voila, she wins.
It's the March primary election for Kim Foxx. You think this is going to change the trajectory of that election in this county, in this state? I mean,
it has come to this. This is the first time I think about moving out of Cook County.
I mean, this is Todd Stroger. I mean, Todd's a super nice guy, but this is not a city or a county or a state that cares about competence or integrity or performance. I mean, how many election cycles do people have to go through before they recognize that I'm sorry, I wish it wasn't the case, but the majority of this state, and certainly the majority of Cook County and the city of Chicago, don't care about any of those qualities. They have bought into identitarian politics wholesale, and they are backed up by what constitutes the Chicago Press Corps to amplify the divisive, ignorant lamentations of the left. And that's what you have. And the other piece of this, too, of course, is you don't have any opposition party with any integrity or courage or competence either. And so to some extent, I understand the voters' predicament. What am I supposed to do? I don't have a choice. Well, I guess you're supposed to leave.
By the way, Jussie Smollett, he was not in court. He's going to be in court February 24th. He dares step foot in Chicago again.
Bill in Edison Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I just, the people of Cook County should be glad that they brought it up before the election. It's sort of like if you have a child molester and you don't want to indict him until after he's elected. Let the people see what she's like. She showed herself repeatedly to be biased on certain things. The people have to quit voting for color of the skin. That's not a qualification. Even our mayor, she puts herself out to boast that she's a lesbian. That's not a qualification. That's an identity. These people have to start looking at the people, what they're doing, not just what they look like. It's just so frustrating.
I hear you, Bill.
I mean, could she be charged with something, Dan, later on down the line?
She could be. I mean, depending on what she did exactly, we don't know the level of
who she was trying to help out.
Well, right, we don't know if this was somebody who was incompetent or somebody who was engaged in prosecutorial misconduct. Those are two very different things. Although this is always a challenge to figure out where Chicago politicians' incompetence begins and or ends and their misconduct begins. Incompetence or corruption. Those are not necessarily bright lines all the time with these individuals. I mean, Bill's right. But sure. So Kim Foxx's record has been laid bare enough that she's felt the need to respond to it ad nauseum on commercials. And so people will vote to reelect her with eyes wide open, just as they have so many other politicians in this state. And obviously Chicago.
This made national news. I mean, people around the world know this story.
Right. And so what? Lori Lightfoot announces her candidacy, says, I am the triple threat. I'm black, female, and gay. Those were her 3 qualifications. And you know what? A plurality of the primary voters bought it. And then, obviously, the majority bought it against another identitarian. It's all identitarians. That's the real party here. David and McCook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. I am chomping at the bit to see these phone records released of Jussie Smollett's.
Yeah. That could be interesting. Thanks for the call, David. Although we don't, I don't know that that will be, terribly instructive with respect to Fox necessarily. Well, you need the full complement of her communications with Tina Chen and Obama World to be disclosed. That to me is more interesting. But yeah, I mean, it is. Hold on a second. John in Bridgeport, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Okay, hey, Kim Fox, how about this? We just had a couple of people murdered in Chinatown by a repeat offender that you decide to let out. You decide to let out, all for criminal justice reform. Or how about the countless number of career criminals that you decide to let out that you feel the system is not just for them? And what happens? Everyday people in Chicago, Cook County, gets their garage broken into, gets their cars tampered with, gets robbed at gunpoint by repeat offenders because you don't want to put felony charges against them, and you don't want to put them away because you feel the system is not fair enough. That's the problem here, guys, and that's what I think you and the media have to push, is that. Never mind Smollett. Go in Michigan Avenue. How about the repeat offenders on there that are jumping people, stealing from people? It's an absolute disgrace that this woman can even go on TV and proud herself in front of people saying that she's the answer. She sucks.
Thanks for the call,
And there's
John.
another story with 4 convicted felons who were rearrested out on a recognizance bond, they were armed to the teeth. And Chicago police went in this Airbnb that they were renting, and they got in a fist fight and slammed an officer's head against the wall because they were trying to protect their weapons because they were selling them for money. Nobody talked about that story. All 4 of them were out on a recognizance bond.
We've talked about the number of people out on ankle bracelets, and then they're not tracked, committing crimes on ankle bracelets that don't work.
There's no shock collar embedded in that.
Perhaps shouldn't be bonded out. We've talked about people that were whose charges were downgraded and they were released, or they served a light jail sentence and then turned right around and committed violent crimes. It just has no resonance. Now, the thing I will say is it doesn't have any resonance because it's difficult to get amplification. And there's an opportunity for the 3 candidates running against Kim Fox. Have you heard them take it? Not really. All the money that Bill Conway's dad is spending
on his son's
on his kid
campaign. I mean,
his
dad's a billionaire, right? Or a millionaire? What is he, a billionaire?
Yeah. I mean, and so what? What's the great contrast? I'm going to take on the NRA. You're going to take on the NRA. I'm going to ban guns. You're going to ban guns.
Yeah, he mentioned that in his commercial.
Where's anybody just speaking truth, laying out arguments, providing the evidence, and offering anything resembling common sense with respect to criminal activity, particularly of the violent variety in Chicago? I'm not hearing it. Marty in Naperville.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Once this thing gets out in the public, if the Obamas are tied to this thing at all, there is going to be another cover-up. They are not going to smear that name or get that name involved in any kind of, if you want to call corruption or wrongdoing. This thing is just going to be another waste of time. He's going to pay $130,000. He's going to get a slap on the face, and it's going to advance his career. Unfortunately.
I don't know. Thanks for the call, Marty.
He got a countersuit too, a civil suit against the city too.
Yeah, I don't know
I
don't know that this is going to advance his career because
his career is over.
Yeah, I think I don't think this is helping him.
No.
And I think everybody everybody with any, sense rolling around between their ears recognize this as a hoax from the outset, which of course excludes the Chicago Press Corps and excludes
you and I knew for the second that it happened. I texted you right away like this is not possible.
And excludes, by the way, some of his cast members like Terrence Howard at Empire and the Hollywood folks, Maxine Waters, who stood by him, and
the producers,
all of the histrionics from The Usual Suspects that should be properly embarrassed now, but they're beyond embarrassment. I understand that.
Dave Chappelle never stood by him. That whole riff is. I watched it in its entirety and I fell out of bed laughing.
Well, if there's something
hysterical,
even if Kim Fox gets reelected, if there's something good from it, we can enjoy a few more weeks of Chappelle.
Can you imagine if you was a police veteran taking this kid's police report? Okay, Mr. Smoulier, please tell me what happened. All right, 2 a.m. You left the house at 2 a.m. It's minus 16 degrees. All right. You were walking. All right. And where were you going? Subway. Sandwiches? That's when the men approached you? Did you see them? Do you have any? Okay, what do they have on? MAGA hats! MAGA hats on in Chicago? Excuse me one second, Mr. Smoulier. Frank, come here for a second. Find out where Kanye West was last night.
But we're the punchline.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Tom Goleb, Chief Financial Officer of Navitas Systems, a leader in the next generation of advanced battery technology and a customer of Signature Bank. A few years ago, I heard Signature Bank on an AM 560 radio ad, just as our previous commercial bank was being acquired. I knew Mick O'Rourke and Kevin Bastuga from a prior enterprise. I valued my relationship with them, and the way they worked earned my trust and my business. So I decided to give Signature Bank a call. They took the time to understand our early-stage technology company that has its own set of challenges. Signature Bank took care of us, and now we are satisfied customers.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
The number one reason I started taking Balance of Nature was the quality and I think the proven science behind it piqued my interest. I've tried so many different types of supplements, whether they're dietary supplements or just general vitamins. This is the only dietary supplement that I've ever taken where I actually felt a noticeable change. To me, that speaks volumes, you know.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
If you've been in business more than 20 minutes, you've probably printed your logo on all kinds of promotional products. We all know logos work because they're on everything from the top of skyscrapers to the bottom of shoes. Ever wondered why? Or how to best use your logo to grow your business? Let us show you today for free. We're 4imprint, promotional product experts at your service. We're giving away the latest issue of Amplify, the digital magazine that reveals promotional product success stories absolutely free to everyone who texts BOOST to 88988. At 4imprint, we make your logo look perfect on thousands of promotional items. With our 100% guarantee, it'll be right the first time, on time, every time. Your free e-magazine will reveal invaluable insights that can attract new customers, build your brand, and grow your business. Get the latest issue of Amplify absolutely free by texting BOOST to 88988. That's BOOST to 88988.
What if being in recovery from a mental or substance use disorder was something we proudly showed the world? Millions of people are in recovery, sharing hope and support with family, friends, and community. Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is Chicago's election station, AM 560. The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app.
This is a Fox
radio.com.
News alert. Deja vu in New Hampshire for Bernie Sanders. I'm Dave Anthony.
This victory here is the beginning of the end for Donald Trump.
Sanders won the Democratic primary like he did 4 years ago, but it was a lot closer this time. Pete Buttigieg was second at 24%, about a point behind Sanders, and the two might end up with the same amount of delegates.
A fresh outlook is what makes new beginnings possible. It is how we build a new majority.
A third Democrat surged into third. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal live in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Dave, in most contests, third place might not get you a whole lot of attention, but that's not the case for Senator Amy Klobuchar, who told her supporters Tuesday night,
I came back and we delivered.
Neighboring Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren did not fare well, finishing fourth after high expectations, but said her campaign is built for the long haul.
We're 2 states in with 55 states and territories to go.
We still have 98% of our delegates for our nomination up for grabs.
Biden, who finished fifth and who left the state to campaign in South Carolina, said just 2 states have voted, Dave.
Now, Jessica, Joe Biden got only about 8% and said from South Carolina,
"It ain't over, man. We're just getting started."
Now, he is confident he can win in South Carolina. Their primary there, February 29th, a week after the next contest, which is in Nevada. 2 Democrats who finished far back in New Hampshire dropped out of the race. Andrew Yang and Michael Bennet. Deval Patrick reportedly considering dropping out today. Republicans also voted in New Hampshire. President Trump won big, gaining 85% of the vote. Bill Weld, 9%. A story lost in all the focus in New Hampshire came out of Chicago. A special prosecutor has charged actor Jussie Smollett again, renewed charges of lying to police over Smollett's claim he was a victim of a racist and homophobic attack last year by 2 men. He denies it was a staged hate crime. America's listening to Fox News.
Thin clouds this morning, 25 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Jussie Smollett, not out of the legal woods. Former Empire actor was indicted yesterday by a Cook County grand jury on 6 counts of disorderly conduct, accusing him of staging a hate crime against himself last year in Chicago. Smollett claimed he was attacked by 2 men. All those charges were later dropped by embattled Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx, who received an endorsement yesterday.
We will not allow a special prosecutor to bring down a sister who has been working very hard for criminal justice reform.
Just ahead of the March primary, Fox's campaign questioned the timing of Dan Webb's indictment. Cook County Sheriff is investigating whether an Evergreen Park pediatrician who committed suicide last year had been falsifying documents for parents who didn't want to vaccinate their children. Sheriff Tom Dart says a suicide note left by Dr. Van Konis raised questions about record-keeping of vaccinations of at his medical practice. Konis was a known advocate of homeopathic medical techniques. The Illinois Education Association has released a state education report that it says shows Illinoisans do not have a high regard for public schools. The association says its poll of 1,000 residents gave a grade of C- to public schools, although they gave their local public schools an A or a B grade. Chicago sports. Number 23 Illinois rallied from 20 down but fell to unranked Michigan State 70-69 in Champaign. Notre Dame edged by Virginia in overtime, and Northern Illinois was knocked off by Ball State. Wizards beat the Bulls 126-114. Blackhawks fell to the Oilers 5-3 at Edmonton. The news service of Upwork. Upwork has the world's largest network of proven independent professionals, and here's an alphabetical list: accountants, administrative assistants, animators, architects. You get the point. When you need in-demand talent on demand, Upwork is how. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager doesn't see fair elections from the DNC.
My only agenda on this issue is to figure out how do we have honest elections. The Democrats do not want honest elections, in my opinion. They are opposed to the idea that you must identify yourself when you vote. The most solemn thing that is done in a free country you can do without an ID.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
I know we have a lot of shooting enthusiasts listening right now. This is Dan Proft, and I want to tell you about a truly special, family-friendly, private shooting facility. And I should know, I'm a member of Aurora Sportsman's Club. Here's David Lombardo, the club's past president and On Target Radio co-host.
Thanks, Dan. ASC has 285 acres composed of 4 shooting complexes for a total of 22 ranges from 50 feet to 600 yards, with more in development. Our family memberships allow drawing from the holster, moving and shooting steel. Our 2 shotgun complexes offer wobble trap, double trap, 2 standard trap fields, 2 skeet fields, 5 stand, and one of the most challenging sporting clays courses in the Midwest. Additionally, we offer fishing and hunting. In March and April, we're holding our annual family membership drive.
It sure sounds good to me, David. How do they get more information?
Visit aurorasc.org or call 815-264-9000. That's aurorasc.org for a better shooting experience. AuroraSC.org.
This is the Frells family. They live on a piece of land they call greener pasture, and they work on it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. With its durable construction and features that hook up to dozens of attachments with ease, no job is too tough. The Frells family runs with us because this is more than just land. It's home. Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Attention everyone! With Dell's President's Day sale, get monumental savings on Dell Business PCs with Intel Core processors and business tech. Deals are live now with doorbusters up to 60% off on President's Day the 17th. Our small business technology advisors can help you find the right tech for your business at President's Day prices by calling 877-BUY-DELL. Plus, get free shipping on everything. Just call 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/business deals.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and auto insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
6:07 Team Hochberg Traffic Center time and Jim Telemonte.
On Chicago's west side, there's a closure of Erie Street between Austin and Mayfield after an earlier fire. Veterans Memorial Tollway southbound at Army Trail. Crash just reported. Traffic had been light. Prepare to slow down approaching the scene. There's some road work in that area northbound wrapping up between St. Charles and the Army Trail Toll Plaza. Edens looks good. Inbound Kennedy. Little tight, Chicago Avenue to Ohio. It's fine outbound. Inbound Eisenhower, traffic slow. Manheim to Des Plaines Avenue and western to Racine. 34 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound fine at 28. Now Stevenson, a few minutes worth of delays starting before Cicero. Inbound Ryan, looking at 19 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford, about a 4-minute delay approaching the merge. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. In our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, mostly cloudy skies, a bit of snow this afternoon, little or no accumulation, high 38. Snow tonight, 2 to 4 inches expected, low 20. Cloudy, cold, snow and flurries tomorrow, another 1 to 2 on the way, the high 24. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
25 at O'Hare, next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by CharlesEquipment.com, keeping you powered up no matter what the conditions.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Attorney General Barr, as we discussed yesterday, making an announcement before the National Sheriff's Association on Monday that it's time to take prosecution of sanctuary jurisdictions to the next level, and specifically in New Jersey and King County, Washington State, where local and state laws are running afoul of federal immigration law. There is this thing called the Supremacy Clause. There is this responsibility the federal government has to enforce our immigration laws, and it's about time. It's about time. Let's hear from Attorney General Barr on the topic.
And although local communities frequently feel the effects of unfettered illegal immigration and the effects of criminal aliens, the only authority in the country that is vested with the power and the responsibility of dealing with that problem is the federal government. No state can deal with it alone.
And as I mentioned yesterday, importantly included in his remarks was this notion that the Department of Justice will go after jurisdictions and or politicians who run afoul of federal immigration law, like that mayor of Oakland, who wasn't gone after, and she should have been.
Because she was harboring fugitives.
Well, aiding and abetting.
Aiding and abetting, told them they were coming and hid them. And that's a crime.
And so, again, there's no need to manufacture anything. But if you have a politician believe that he or she can break the law and intercede on behalf of criminals or alleged criminals against law enforcement, federal law enforcement, then that politician needs to be held to account. And I hope and I believe Attorney General Barr is serious about that. For more on the topic, we're pleased to be joined by Ken Cuccinelli, Principal Deputy Director of the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Agency and Acting Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security. Ken, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hey, great to be with you all.
Good. So this seems to me like I know this is the funding is not the purview of the Department of Justice, but just in terms of a multi-pronged approach to dealing with those jurisdictions and those politicians that want to interrupt the enforcement of federal immigration law. The purse strings is one thing, but enforcing the rule of law, including on politicians, is a whole other matter.
Yeah, and you referenced some of General Barr's comments yesterday. I'd also note that in Massachusetts, the U.S. Attorney has brought charges against a state judge who was hustling some criminal illegals out the back door of the courthouse.
Oh, that's right.
And I don't know whether you remember that.
Yeah,
one,
that's right.
We do,
I'd forgotten.
Those are pending. That's a pending case. So you all are on the money in your formulations of it, the aiding and abetting and so forth. That is entirely plausible, and we'll see what the Justice Department has in store here. But I hope 5 more years of this kind of work. But certainly in the Department of Homeland Security, we deal with the other end of it. We're the ones actually trying to do the enforcement, and we're doing it. But when you get localities that politicize law enforcement, and mind you, in American history, state, local, federal law enforcement have typically ignored politics. They work together. They keep each other safe. They've got each other's back. And now they all have their own jurisdictions, but that's been a very cooperative arrangement throughout American history. There are a very limited number of times when politics has invaded law enforcement, and they have all been black marks on our history. And this is another one. This is not. This is keeping people unsafe, both in the communities and law enforcement officers themselves. We had a couple ICE officers who were assaulted while arresting a removable illegal in New York City last week. They were both hospitalized. They got their man, but it was a violent tussle. Things like that went on the city streets. Those sorts of handoffs should happen in city jails.
Yeah,
where everybody is safe. And obviously, locally, that's an issue. We have this issue with King County. You saw they're suing, the Department of Justice is suing them because they don't want us to use their airport to deport people. Well, too bad. Then don't build an airport.
All right. Well, how's the morale, though, knowing that all these people and even, judges and people who run airports and government officials are against you?
Well, certainly in DHS and in ICE, we know we're under the gun, and there is a lot of vitriol directed our way. But frankly, it's sort of fortifying because we know why. It's because we're doing our job. If we weren't doing a good job, they wouldn't complain.
Right.
The problem is they don't like the laws we're enforcing. And what's darkly amusing to me is when I hear congressmen who write the laws gripe and moan about it, and they have the power and authority to do something about it, and yet they don't.
I wanted to also, you mentioned the King County case, wanting the federal government to have access to their airport. Talk to us about also the case in New York State, because, if New York State comes up with a loony idea, it's sure to be adopted in Illinois and California and other states post-haste. Their green light law and how Homeland Security is responding to their green light law.
So what they call their green light law blocks basic DMV information from ICE and Customs Border Protection. And remember, New York's a border state. They get a lot of Canadian crossing back and forth. That's a good thing. It's a positive thing when it's secure and safe for those involved and America, and it usually is. But to keep it safe, we have to know who's coming across our border. And the most basic way that's accomplished by U.S. law enforcement at every level is starting with those DMV bits of information. Is this license I'm holding real? Is the person it represents as being person X really person X? And we need to access DMV databases to find that out. And you've probably heard in other discussions, in terms of raw numbers, the most dangerous thing that happens in law enforcement is pulling over a car. And it's not because every car is going to blow up on an officer. It's because it happens so many times a day that the odds start to stack up with the officers. And they need to know everything they can know when they approach that vehicle about what they're facing in that vehicle. Do they have a fugitive warrant? Are they literally walking up on a wanted criminal? Or is it just somebody who is breaking the speed limit? And by New York barring access to that information, they've barred the opportunity to see the most basic building block of officer safety and law enforcement. And so we responded by telling New York that among our many trusted traveler programs, pretty much all of them except TSA PreCheck so far, New Yorkers will not be able to enroll or renew their participation in those. And remember, they're a border state. They cross that border quite a bit, thousands of times a day. And by the end of 2020, about 250,000 New Yorkers who wanted to be in those trusted traveler programs will not be. And another 150 to 200,000 a year will not be renewed for the following 4 years until there are literally no New Yorkers left in those programs.
Well,
and we keep these options on the table for other states as well.
And it demanded a response because of exactly what I said. You're going to have other similarly politically inclined states mimic them if you don't do something.
That's right.
I wanted to get your reaction to this new way forward legislation that has been under-discussed, introduced in the House by another illustrious Illinois Congressman, Chuy Garcia, that would basically deal with illegal immigration by just eliminating the illegal. That there's no such thing as illegal immigration anymore, and that's the way you figure it out. What that would mean for law enforcement, what that would mean for national security.
Well, border security is national security, and it certainly wipes it out at that point. And I see stuff like that at a policy level, and I don't really think they believe it. I think that it's so extreme that no one could possibly, who's actually sworn an oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution, which they all have, could actually believe that. I think that it's more political gamesmanship to wave in front of their extremely left-wing base and say, "Look what a great guy I am." But in practical terms, if you implement something like that, you wipe out the ability of much of your federal law enforcement to protect America and Americans. And a lot of people who back policies like that will say, "Well, we want to get the terrorists." Well, I got news for you: the terrorists, the human cargo, the drug cargo, they all come in the same pipes. And those pipes are set up by the same evil people. You can trace them back not just to, but to the Mexican drug cartels that are organized criminal organizations that frankly operate like terrorists. And that's right on our border. If we want to just open the pipes to those folks, we're going to reap the whirlwind, and it will be even uglier than what we see now.
Now, I'm all for law enforcement and border security and the work that the Homeland Security Department does. However, that doesn't mean that it's all unqualified and without concerns. And I want to get your reaction to some of the concerns that have been leveled against the Real ID that is in the process of full implementation by October. The concerns, the privacy concerns people have about the sorts of information and that government may demand of American citizens on a go-forward basis, and whether or not this is really in the interests necessary to advance the interests of national security, and is not does not potentially increase the peril of government using this sort of information against American citizens to control them in material ways and move in the area of retina scans and DNA material and that sort of thing.
Well, look, you're talking to a libertarian conservative. I appreciate those concerns very much, and as a state legislator, I was very particular about how we would do Real ID in Virginia, and we are, theoretically on the verge of that going into effect in October of this year, and I will say that across the DHS enterprise, because of the challenges with what I'll call information-based identities. So person X comes across the border and tells you their name is person X. It's awfully hard for us to verify that, particularly internationally. And a lot of the information, as we were talking about earlier in our conversation, that we draw from is in those DMV databases. So we end up comparing against some of those to try to really exclude people from consideration. But there's no question that CBP, for instance, is experimenting with using facial recognition to move people through their processes faster, but also at the border. So we go to a biometric-based identification instead of information-based. So we don't have to believe person X that they're person X. We have a thumbprint, or we have, the facial recognition face print. I'm not quite sure exactly the term there, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
I will say that the only absolute way, and you're talking to a guy who sued the NSA over their metadata gathering back a few years ago. The only absolute way to avoid misuse of information, even something as simple as a passport, is not to ever have it. And that's a decision that was made by Congress years back and has been revisited but not changed.
But I think
in terms of the balance between privacy and security.
And I think people want to know, and you're in a position to tell them that these conversations are happening in Homeland Security. Concerns about making sure this information and particularly when you get into AI and facial recognition is being protected, so that there's not the same sort of exposure to identity theft that we've seen in big corporations, for example. Just that that Homeland Security and the federal government is thinking about these things, talking about these things, trying to establish protocols and security.
Yeah, and we absolutely are, and we do it. We do it in tandem with all the other developments in the program. So that's done hand in hand, and it is a priority for us. And in fact, we do completely separate reports on just privacy and protection of the information. So we've got our eye on it, and it is of concern to us. This is not a one-way street of just get additional information and use it for our security purposes. There's also the question of protecting it, and that is something that we take quite seriously. So, that's something you all can be assured of.
He is Ken Cuccinelli, Principal Deputy Director of the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Agency and Acting Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security. Ken, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's good to be with you all.
Take
Have a great
care.
day.
You too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
The weather outside might feel like winter, but if you have school-age kids, you should be thinking about back-to-school season. And specifically, you should be thinking about where you'll be sending your kids to school this fall. If you've always felt like you didn't really have a choice to send your kids to private school because of the cost, then listen up. We want to tell you about halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find local private schools from all over Chicagoland offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at half the price with no catch. Find a school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It's that simple. Halfpriceschools.com has schools located across Chicagoland, including Westminster Christian in Elgin, Christian Liberty Academy in Arlington Heights, and Chicago Hope Academy on the city's west side. Make private school a real option for your family for the first time this year. But don't wait. Many of these vouchers will sell out. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I started taking the Balance of Nature, and I was actually lifting weights at the time, and I pulled out my rotor cuff, and I couldn't lift my arm. I had to take off from lifting weights for 8 weeks. During that time, I was taking the Balance of Nature, and everybody told me my shoulder was not going to heal, and I was not going to be able to lift anymore. And my shoulder actually healed, and when I went back to lifting weights, I didn't lose any strength. I definitely feel completely different. My hair feels better. My skin feels better. Overall, everything's better.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
What would you do if you knew there was a place to learn step-by-step strategies designed to help you make the right moves inside the financial markets? A place to develop skills that can help you generate income and build confidence toward your retirement goals. At Online Trading Academy, we know there's an investor in all of us, and we know how to teach people just like you the skills and knowledge that could empower you to take better control of your financial future. Start by taking our free introductory class at a location near you. Learn about the biggest mistakes investors make and how you can learn to avoid them. Plus, you'll learn strategies that could help you make your money work harder for you. For over 20 years, Online Trading Academy has been teaching students skills designed to help them learn to invest with the confidence of the pros.
Call 844-778-7132 for 2 free tickets to a class in your area and receive our Professional Insiders Kit with lessons from our top instructors just for attending. That's 844-778-7132. 844-778-7132 or visit otaclass.com.
The land of chocolate.
Oh, for Valentine's Day, get your significant other tickets for the Chocolate, Wine, and Spirits Expo. Sample artisan chocolates, wines, liqueurs, spirits, while experiencing pairings from chefs and chocolatiers across Chicago. The expo includes free parking, and proceeds go to the Chicago Canine Rescue. And right now, AM 560 is giving away 5 pairs of tickets to the Chocolate, Wine, and Spirits Expo. Register to win at 560theanswer.com/giveaway. That's 560theanswer.com/giveaway.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Is the end of democracy upon us? That's the prediction of one sociologist. We'll discuss at 6:36.
And how Target made a Big Ten mistake. We'll explain. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
In Chicago, 25 degrees. We have thin clouds this morning. At 6:29 on AM 560, The Answer. We're monitoring developments in Louisiana this morning where firefighters have been working overtime to contain a fire at an oil refinery. Kurt Monte is with the Baton Rouge Fire Department saying overnight hazmat teams have been forced into action to monitor inside and outside air quality.
They have not picked up any readings outside the facility. Exxon is reporting that no injuries from inside the facility, and the fire has been contained to the area where it started.
A huge fireball erupted at the ExxonMobil refinery in Baton Rouge around midnight. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders has come out on top in New Hampshire's Democrat presidential primary.
And let me say tonight that this victory here is the beginning of the end for Donald Trump.
In 2016, Sanders easily beat Hillary Clinton in New Hampshire, but narrowly defeated Pete Buttigieg this time around.
I admired Senator Sanders when I was a high school student. I respect him greatly to this day, and I congratulate him on his strong showing tonight.
However, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar pushed through some barriers to finish third.
So many of us believe that the heart of America is bigger than the heart of this guy in the White House.
There's speculation this morning that Andrew Yang, who dropped out of the race yesterday, could run for mayor of New York City. There's call for a review into the decision to overturn the sentence of Roger Stone after all 4 prosecutors in that case resigned yesterday. Legal analyst Danny Savalos says he's never seen anything like this before. The Department of Justice announced it will recommend a lesser sentence for the longtime Trump associate.
In the humdrum world of federal sentencing, this is a blockbuster. As somebody who lives in that world, it is absolutely unprecedented in my view.
DOJ officials say the original sentence recommendation of 7 to 9 years in prison was extreme and excessive. Jussie Smollett is not out of the legal woods yet. The former Empire actor was indicted yesterday by a Cook County grand jury on 6 counts of disorderly conduct, accusing him of staging a hate crime against himself last year in Chicago. Our reporter Ron Allen has more.
Special prosecutors saying a new investigation launched after similar charges were abruptly dropped last year revealed Smollett reported a heinous hate crime that he in fact knew had not occurred.
The new indictment was brought by a special prosecutor, Dan Webb, who was appointed to investigate problems with how the Office of Fox bungled that case. An investigation continues after gunshots were fired at a home in Round Lake Park yesterday, and that caused a soft lockdown of a elementary school across the street. Cook County Sheriff's Office is investigating whether an Evergreen Park pediatrician who committed suicide last year had been falsifying documents for parents who did not want to vaccinate their children. And if you're keeping track, the Bulls rank 4th on this year's list of most valuable NBA teams. Forbes figures that the Bulls are worth $3.2 billion. The Knicks top the list. Lakers at number 2, Warriors number 3. Number 23, Illinois rallied from 20 down, but fell to unranked Michigan State, 70-69 in Champaign. Tonight, Northwestern hosts Michigan, and Western Illinois is at South Dakota. In the Valley, Loyola is at Evansville. The news service of Staples. At Staples, save up to 40% all month on select chairs like desk or executive chairs for the office and gaming chairs for your home. Hurry into Staples. There's a whole lot more in store. Offer ends 2/29/20 while supplies last. Staples. 6:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity can't believe we are where we are.
It's just every question is answered. This was so frustrating to me watching all of this shift show. How is it even possible we are here? How is this possible? Especially knowing all that we know. It shouldn't be.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I'll tell you, I usually sleep on my side, and the joint pain in my shoulders has been just absolutely excruciating. Since I've been on your fruits and vegetables, the joint pain has gone away. That's an amazing thing because I have been suffering from that now for probably 20 years. And to have that just disappear like that, I give you guys all the credit for it because to have that disappear like it has is pretty amazing to me.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
This is Attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on AM 560 every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. Let me tell you about Bill. Bill's business slowed down and he fell behind on his taxes. Instead of filing his tax return, he decided to wait until he could pay. Well, 1 year turned to 2, turned to 3. Then the IRS threatened to contact his customers, take his house, his bank account, and his passport. Well, Bill hired me. We filed all of his tax returns and an appeal to slow the IRS down. Then we worked out an installment agreement based on how much he could pay, not on how much he owed. Now Bill can rely on the IRS protection plan. We will file his future tax returns and keep the IRS off his back so Bill can focus on growing his business. If you have questions about the IRS, you can get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today, to learn the secrets of solving your IRS problem and save your business, your marriage, and your reputation. Call 312-664-6649 or go to freeirsbook.com.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
6:36, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, and Jim Telemonti.
In Addison, expect delays on eastbound Army Trail approaching 355. There is a crash there right at the Veterans Memorial Tollway. And on the northbound Veterans Memorial, farther south at Finley, on the northbound side, there's a disabled semi blocking the right lane, and there's a fuel leak as well. Eden's inbound traffic's tight approaching the junction. No more than a 2-minute delay at this point. Inbound Kennedy, delays start at Canfield. It's 27 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 24. Inbound Eisenhower, 39 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Inbound Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 419. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy, bit of afternoon snow, high 38. Heavy snow overnight, 2 to 4 inches, low of 20. It's 25 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. This expansive David Brooks piece in The Atlantic is like a one big tribute to why Dan Proft is single.
Should we cue the music?
It's fascinating, actually. The headline belies the analysis a little bit, but the headline, "The nuclear family was a mistake."
All right, you piqued my interest. I'm ready.
The nuclear family was a mistake. We spent so much time talking about family as the unit of analysis in terms of social stability and social cohesion. What if we have the paradigm wrong for the 21st century? Is essentially the question that David Brooks explores. He starts by, depicting like the prototypical 1950s extended family as portrayed in Barry Levinson's film Avalon, which was based on his own childhood. 5 brothers came to America from Eastern Europe around the time of World War I, built a wallpaper business. For a while, they did everything together like the old country, but as the movie goes along, the extended family splits apart. Some members move to the suburbs for more privacy and space. One leaves for a job in a different state. The big blow-up comes over something that seems trivial but isn't. The eldest of brothers arrives late to a Thanksgiving dinner to find the family has begun the meal without him, and so on and so forth. But those conventions of the extended family that's, one generation into the American experience. Here's his summary of what happened in this past century.
Okay.
If you want to summarize the changes in the family structure, the truest thing to say is we've made life freer for individuals and more unstable for families. We've made life better for adults but worse for children. We've moved from big, interconnected, and extended families, which help protect the most vulnerable people in society from the shocks of life, to smaller, detached nuclear families, a married couple and their children, which give the most privileged people in society room to maximize their talents and expand their options. The shift from bigger, interconnected, extended families to smaller and detached nuclear families ultimately led to a familial system that liberates the rich and ravages the working class and the poor. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. It's a lot to take in, but, you use your own experience as a guide. The extended family to the nuclear family to the family situation today. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The family situation today, where only a minority of American households are in traditional two-parent nuclear families, and only 1/3 of American individuals live in this kind of family. That's today.
How many? 1/3?
What you said? Only 1/3 of American individuals live in the kind of nuclear family that punctuated the 1950 to 1965 window. Minority of American households are in this environment. He quotes from the book The Lost City, which is actually a good book. Alan Ehrenhalt describes life in that halcyon period of the nuclear family in Chicago's suburbs. To be a young homeowner in a suburb like Elmhurst in the 1950s was to participate in a communal enterprise that only the most determined loner could escape. Barbecues, coffee klatches, volleyball games, babysitting co-ops, and constant bartering of household goods, child rearing by the nearest parents who happened to be around, neighbors wandering through the door at any hour without knocking. All these were devices by which young adults had been set down in a wilderness of tract homes made a community. It was a life lived in public, and that's gone. And actually, Sebastian Maniscalco, I think we have it. See if you can pull it, Justin. Sebastian Maniscalco does a great riff on this, great stand-up riff on this, comparing what it was like growing up in a big Italian family in the northwest suburbs.
Hey! Sorry.
And when people would drop in,
right,
the living life in public, guests come to the door, somebody rings the doorbell, and it's an excitement, and the family's getting ready, and mom's getting coffee cake, compared to what it is today.
Yeah, somebody rings the doorbell, I run, or I pretend like I'm sleeping, or I pretend like we're not home.
I was sitting in my house a couple weeks ago, just relaxing. My doorbell rang. This is weird. It's a different feeling when your doorbell rings today opposed to 20 years ago, right? 20 years ago, your doorbell rang. That was a happy moment in your house. It's called company. Look at who's here. And you'd ask them, what the hell are you doing here? And the person would be like, I was in the neighborhood. Now your doorbell rings? It's like, what the All right, your own mother's crawling across the kitchen floor. Get down, my army crawl. Army crawl, get in the closet. Go get the sword in the living room. Somebody get the sword underneath the couch in the living room. There's a sword.
That's classic.
Eli Finkel, a psychologist and marriage scholar from Northwestern, argues that since the 1960s, the dominant family culture has been the self-expressive marriage. He wrote, look at marriage. Americans now look to marriage increasingly for self-discovery, self-esteem, and personal growth. Marriage, according to a couple of other sociologists, but along the same lines of argumentation, marriage is no longer primarily about childbearing and child rearing. Now marriage is primarily about adult fulfillment. That cultural shift has been very good for some adults, but it's not so good for families generally. Fewer relatives are around in times of stress to help a couple work through them. If you married for love, staying together made less sense when the love died. This attenuation of marital ties may have begun during the late 1800s, but the number of divorces, increased about 15-fold from 1870 to 1820, then climbed more or less continuously for several decades until the nuclear family era. And that's, there was a period of stability there, sort of that generation that Brooks identifies as 1950 to 1965. Americans today have less family than ever before. Over the last 40 years, the share of households consisting of married couples with kids has been cut in half.
Wow.
In 1960, just 13% of all households were single-person households. In 2018, it more than doubled to 28%. Those are big numbers. Those are big shifts in a short period of time.
Is that because women started working?
It's part of it.
Because that's what I was thinking. Like,
He
what
addresses
was
it.
it that, my grandparents' generation had that we didn't?
That's certainly part of it. That's part of the conversation. He makes the point, though, just I won't take your calls in just a minute, but
yeah, 312-642-5600.
the extended family. The extended family had two great strengths. First is resilience, right? It acts as a supporting web. Your spouse and children come first, but they're also cousins, in-laws, grandparents, complex web of relationships. If one relationship ruptures, others fill the void. The second strength of extended families is their socializing force. Multiple adults teach children right from wrong, how to behave towards others, how to be kind, and so forth. And I've gone through what's happened in the last 50 years. Also, you have, over the past two generations, people spending less and less time in marriage, marrying later, if at all, divorcing more. Families have also gotten a lot smaller in the last two generations.
Oh, yeah. People used to have 9, 10 children on our block.
And here's the key point that Brooks hones in on to think about a new paradigm for family. And I'm not agreeing with him. I'm describing his walking us down memory lane, and then what he's suggesting that we think about. Over the past two generations, families have grown more unequal. America now has two entirely different family regimes. Among the highly educated, family patterns are almost as stable as they were in the 1950s. Right? This is the coming apart Charles Murray argument. The affluent don't preach what they practice. They're practicing sort of the Victorian mores of the 50s, and they're preaching cultural Marxism. But among the less fortunate, family life is often utter chaos. There's a reason for that divide. Affluent people have the resources to effectively buy extended family in order to shore themselves up. Think of all the child-rearing labor affluent parents now buy that used to be done by extended kin. Babysitting, professional childcare, tutoring, coaching, therapy, after-school programs. For example, for that matter, think of how the affluent can hire therapists and life coaches for themselves. These expensive tools and services not only support children's development and help prepare them to compete in the meritocracy, by reducing stress and time commitments for parents, they preserve the amity of marriage. They're telescoping through resources what used to be provided by extended family, that web. But middle and lower income families don't have those same resources, yet they're still living in the same culture, and thus the divide, Brooks argues. Dennis in Milwaukee, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning, Dan and Amy. Just 2 points. One is that we saw the attack on traditional values at the same time as some of these other, paradigms began to shift in the late 50s and 60s. And that rebellion against institutions, including the traditional family, takes its roots back then. But I would suggest that the other thing that's accelerated these problems is the loss of focus on what was the fundamental social network, which was the family. And that's been extended to more global, more modern social networks, and the whole problem's been accelerated, if not exacerbated, by the internet and this idea that particularly the Z-Genners and the millennials are reaching out and extending their own families through social networks. So instead of coming and knocking at your door in your neighborhood, they're knocking at your door on your cell phone and your tablet. And that's my point today.
Yeah, okay. All right, thanks for the call, Dennis. Brooks kind of gets to that point in a different way. He talks about redefining kinship. Throughout most of human history, kinship was something you could create if you didn't have it by blood. For vast stretches of human history, people lived in extended families consisting of not just people they were related to, but people they chose to cooperate with. Paul in Plainfield.
Hey, so I have 2 points. One, the breakdown of family structure definitely correlates to the breakdown in religion and Christianity in the U.S., which I find interesting. And then the second point is I live where I live, and I have a next-door neighbor that I've lived next to for 6 years, and I don't even know their names. I know they have kids. I see them, but I've knocked on the door, said, hi, how you doing? And they're like, yeah, hi, see ya. And, they don't talk to us at all. And it's a sad state of being.
Thanks for the call, Paul. Appreciate it. Maurice in Berwyn.
I was saying the fact, I'm African American. African American rates for marriage are, basically garbage, pretty much. My parents been married for 55 years.
Mm-hmm.
But, 2 quick points is, one, that, I find that most people my Caucasian friends live in the suburbs, who are divorced, love it. They love the freedom. People don't love obligation. And people love the freedom of being divorced. And 2 is, if people were really serious about upholding the things of marriage, make it hard for people to get divorced. I hear, oh my God, the conservatives and marriage and sex. Why is it so easy to get divorced, man?
Well, right. So we should go back to the pre-no fault divorce era.
Maybe. If you want to make marriage so sanctified, it should be harder then. There are benefits to being married. I think one of the reasons why I'm able to be successful as African Americans from the West Side is because my parents were together.
Yeah.
I'm not a moralist, but having 2 married parents who were non-drug addicted made me successful. So just want to kind of throw that in. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks for the call, Maurice. Yeah, it's a fair point that he raises. What David Brooks turns to is this idea of a political scientist at the University of Dallas, Daniel Burns. It's not an idea so much as a description. He's not necessarily endorsing it. He's describing it. What we have today are forged families, meaning millennials moving back into the house because they can't afford to live on their own at this point. They're on their parents' health insurance till 26, that sort of thing. The Julia avatar from the Obama campaign. Forged families. Also, seniors, same deal. The expense of assisted living facilities, so seniors moving back into the homes with their kids. Tragedy and suffering have pushed people together in a way that goes deeper than just a convenient living arrangement. They've become fictive kin, Brooks building off of Daniel Burns's forged families theory. Over the past several decades, the decline of the nuclear family has created an epidemic of trauma. Millions have been set adrift because what should have been the most loving and secure relationships in their life broke. Slowly, but with increasing frequency, these drifting individuals are coming together to create forged families. These forged families have a feeling of determined commitment. The members of your chosen family are the people who show up for you no matter what. But family isn't always blood. It's the people in your life who want you in theirs, the ones who accept you for who you are, and that's sort of, I guess, the working definition of the forged family. But it still leaves people a bit adrift because there are these blood ties, familial bonds, whether from your blood relatives or the family that you had when you were married that you no longer have in divorce. It's interesting. Pete in Montgomery.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. How can there be an extended family when the government is mother and father?
Well,
just ask Bernie.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Pete. That's one of the other variables that Brooks really doesn't go into here, but there's no question that the incentives provided by Great Society programs over the last 60 years have created moral hazards when it comes to keeping families intact, haven't they? So there's so many ways to look at this and so many variables at play. But it is interesting. I certainly would encourage you to read it, take the time to read it, because it does provide some historical context that you don't normally get and a lot of different theories for you to at least contemplate. And, again, if this is along with church, if this is the most important foundational institution in a free society, then it deserves a little consideration, doesn't it?
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. SeaWorld reaches a settlement with investors. Maine lawmakers say no to sports betting. Those stories next. In a recent survey, investors shared what they felt were the greatest threats to their retirement. It's no surprise the most common threats include stock market volatility, economic uncertainty, conflict in the Middle East, the 2020 presidential impeachment, and election. Unfortunately, there are many threats beyond your control that can affect your retirement savings. At Goldco, a leader in precious metals, the team believes one way to protect your investment portfolio is with physical gold and silver. Goldco has helped thousands of investors safeguard their retirement, especially in times of uncertainty. In fact, if you call 855-971-2006, Goldco will send you a free 1-ounce silver American Eagle coin. And all you have to do is pay for shipping and handling. No obligation. 100% free. Call 855-971-2006 to get your free silver American Eagle coin. That's 855-971-2006. SeaWorld Entertainment agreeing to pay $65 million to settle a lawsuit. The suit accused the theme park company of misleading its investors over the financial impact of a documentary about the life of an orca killed in Orlando. SeaWorld didn't admit to any wrongdoing under terms of that agreement, which still must be approved by the court. A sports betting proposal has failed in the Maine legislature. House lawmakers there fell short of the two-thirds majority needed to override the governor's veto. Seattle is banning most residential evictions during the winter to combat homelessness. Critics argued the ban would hurt landlords. They said the city should cut evictions by connecting needy tenants with rent assistance. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Hey, parents, grandparents, listen up. It's never too early to think about what activities your son or daughter will do this summer. We want our kids to have fun during their break, but provide some structure and preparation for the next school year. So please consider St. John's Northwestern Summer Academy. It's located in the beautiful Lake County region of southeast Wisconsin. St. John's Northwestern Summer Academy offers fantastic summer programs, such as academic opportunities for personal success, and there's this awesome adventure camp. Academic Ops offers 7th through 12th graders 5 weeks of summer classes supplemented with fun activities throughout. Now, the adventure camp is just how it sounds, an exciting camp that instills leadership, adventure, skills training, and having fun. They do some amazing things. They go through barbed wire fence. They play laser tag. They play paintball. It's very active. Both Peyton and Eli went to it, and they loved it. So please consider St. John's Northwestern Summer Academy for your son or daughter with an overnight or day camp programs. And again, it's located on 110 acres in the Lake Country of Wisconsin. And it's only a 2-hour drive from Chicago. And trust me, you feel like you're in a different world. It is a pristine setting. The instructors are amazing people. If you want to take a virtual view, go to YouTube, type in Amy Jacobson and St. John's Northwestern and take a look for yourself. If you have any other questions, though, please visit them online at sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
If you have pain, I hope you listen up. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of the side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you could be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 7:07, we'll return to New Hampshire, though Joe Biden never will. We'll talk about the primary results with Gil Barndollar, a New Hampshire native and American conservative contributor.
And, yeah, Biden fighting for fifth. Now here is Mike Scott.
Questions raised over vaccinations. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. Bernie Sanders wins New Hampshire, just like 2016. I'm Dave Anthony. And just like in Iowa, he got the most votes. Almost 26% in the Democratic primary, but also like Iowa, it was close. And Fox's Jessica Rosenthal's live in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Dave, 4 years ago, Bernie Sanders won in New Hampshire, beating Hillary Clinton by 22 points. This time, he beat former Mayor Pete Buttigieg by only about 2 points.
Thanks to you, a campaign that some said shouldn't be here at all has shown that we are here to stay.
But Sanders was the expected winner, and he said they do plan to win in South Carolina and Nevada as well.
We are going to unite together and defeat the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country.
But another winner here may be Amy Klobuchar, coming in third, beating expectations and beating Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden, who finished fourth and fifth, Dave.
And Jessica, Biden wasn't even in New Hampshire for the counting, instead rallying in South Carolina.
We need to hear from Nevada and South Carolina and Super Tuesday states and beyond.
And the next contest will be in Nevada, February 22nd. Two Democrats who didn't fare well in New Hampshire are bidding farewell to the race. Andrew Yang, Michael Bennet. Deval Patrick says he's reassessing, may also drop out. In the Republican primary, President Trump won big, getting 85% of the vote. Bill Weld got just 9%. Trump campaign spokeswoman Kayleigh McEnany.
There's such discontent with the Democrat field. Compare that to 2016 with President Trump. He was always on top of the national polls.
U.S. troops were attacked today in Syria. Fired upon by pro-Syrian regime forces, the Americans shot back and have returned to their base. No word if there were any casualties. Drama on the ice. A St. Louis Blues hockey player collapsed on the bench during a game in Anaheim last night. Jay Bouwmeester had a cardiac episode. He was said to be awake and alert, taken to a hospital. The game was postponed. America's listening to Fox News.
25 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Former actor Jussie Smollett has been indicted for a second time on charges of lying to police about a racial and anti-gay attack that he staged on himself last year in downtown Chicago. Smollett claimed he was attacked by two men who yelled slurs at him. All of those charges were later dropped by embattled Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx. Reverend Otis Moss was part of a group of African-American pastors yesterday who endorsed Fox for the March primary.
We will not allow a special prosecutor to bring down a sister who has been working very hard for criminal justice reform.
New indictment was brought by Special Prosecutor Dan Webb, appointed to investigate problems with how the Office of Fox bungled the Smollett case. Cook County Sheriff's Office is investigating whether an Evergreen Park pediatrician who committed suicide last year has been falsifying documents for parents who did not want to vaccinate their kids. Sheriff Tom Dart says a suicide note left by Dr. Van Konis raised questions about record keeping. Konis was a known advocate of homeopathic medical techniques. Authorities in Plainfield say a local man died 2 days after being mauled by a pit bull over the weekend. The Tribune first to report 25-year-old Devin White of Plainfield was visiting another home in his nearby community when the animal attacked White and 3 others. Number 23, Illinois, rallied from 20 down, but fell to unranked Michigan State, 70-69 in Champaign. Bradley Beal, 30, and the Wizards win over the Bulls, and the Blackhawks fell to the Oilers in Edmonton, 5-3. The news, a service of Liberty Mutual Insurance. The message? Liberty Mutual Insurance customizes your coverage so you only pay for what you need. Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
With all the noise and political spin of the news cycle, it's easy for the things that really matter to get lost. Sources with knowledge cuts through all the clutter to bring you biting commentary on the week's events. This Sunday at 3 p.m., your hosts Eric Cohn and Joe Kaiser bring you insight on politics and policy, as well as culture, sports, food, and everything else you need, so you can understand what's happened this week. It's Sources with Knowledge this Sunday at 3 p.m. right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Frank Vance, co-owner of Egan Vance Insurance Agency on Chicago's Northwest Side and a customer of Signature Bank. In my line of work, we pride ourselves on being there for our clients when they need it the most, and we recognize when someone does the same for us. As Egan Vance was expanding, we wanted to buy a much sought-after building in the neighborhood. We couldn't waste any time. I called Signature Bank, and that was all it took. I didn't have to talk to multiple people in siloed departments with multiple forms to fill out. One call did it all. As the one who was always looking out for my clients, it was a great change to know that my bank, Signature Bank, was looking out for me.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is the Frells family. They live on a piece of land they call greener pasture, and they work on it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. With its durable construction and features that hook up to dozens of attachments with ease, no job is too tough. The Frells family runs with us because this is more than just land. It's home. Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Attention everyone! With Dell's President's Day sale, get monumental savings on Dell business PCs with Intel Core processors and business tech. Deals are live now with doorbusters up to 60% off on President's Day the 17th. Our small business technology advisors can help you find the right tech for your business at President's Day prices by calling 877-BUY-DELL. Plus, get free shipping on everything. Just call 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/business deals.
Celebrate a victory away from home with La Quinta. Wake up winning with Bright Side Breakfast, including waffles, fruit, and oatmeal. And always get access to free high-speed Wi-Fi. Tonight, La Quinta, tomorrow you triumph. Book direct at LQ.com.
7:07 in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Veterans Memorial Tollway northbound 355. Traffic is really bottled up right now from 75th Street to Finley. Right lane is just reopened after there was a semi leaking fuel, but now at Maple, there's a crash in the left lane. About 8 and 20 minutes like Cook to the junction. Inbound Kennedy, delays start at Canfield, 37 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 18 from Montrose, 19 in the Express. About 31 minutes to the airport. About Eisenhower, 47 minutes, 390 to downtown. 35 Wolf, about 34 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 22 minutes from 95th. I-57, 21 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop, 422. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Cloudy skies today, a little snow this afternoon, little or no accumulation, the high 38. Intermittent snow tonight, 2 to 4 inches, low 20. Clouds and cold, snow and flurries tomorrow, another 1 to 2, and the high tomorrow, 24. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
25 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Bolshevik Bernie on top of New Hampshire last night.
Our campaign is not just about beating Trump. It is about transforming this country.
Yeah, you may want to just keep it about beating Trump, because that whole country transformation thing is what has Bernie bumping up against a relatively low ceiling, in my view, including basically on his home turf in New Hampshire, where he narrowly edged out Mannequin Pete.
And if you look at the delegate count, Mannequin Pete, Bernie tied.
Vulnerable Americans do not have the luxury of pursuing ideological purity over an inclusive victory.
Well, I mean, honestly, this gobbledygook has got to stop.
Yeah, he's a walking refrigerator magnet. But here's the thing about that. My sense is that Dem primary voters and caucus goers, they have bought into the socialism, but they want to switch out the Bolshevik for the Trojan mayor. There's a recognition that Bernie may not be the salesman for all the big government gambits that we otherwise support. You got to soft pedal it, like President Obama did, like Mayor Pete is doing. And so the question becomes, coming out of New Hampshire, can Mayor Pete leverage his performances in Iowa and New Hampshire in states that so far are less interested in his candidacy, South Carolina and Nevada, coming up in reverse order? And can Joe Biden hold on and stay in this race with wins? And he needs wins in both of those states. How much does he need to win? Well, last night for his New Hampshire election party, he was in South Carolina talking about Nevada.
I just spoke to our folks up in New Hampshire, and they did a good job. But I want to tell you, the people of Nevada are watching, and I want to make it clear we praise their diversity as a state, and I'm going to be out there seeing them very soon. Tonight, though, we just heard from the first 2 of 50 states, 2 of them. Not all the nation, not half the nation, not a quarter of the nation, not 10%.
125th, yeah, we got it.
2. Is that what it was?
Where I come from, that's the opening bell, not the closing bell. And the fight to end Donald Trump's presidency is just beginning.
All right, yeah.
And in New Hampshire, third place matters. And the term yesterday was the Klobentum. Get it? Amy
No,
Klobuchar,
I
she's
don't.
gaining momentum.
Donald
Keep workshopping
Trump's
that.
worst nightmare is that the people in the middle, the people who have had enough of the name calling and the mudslinging, have someone to vote for in November.
And basically, she introduced herself to people that weren't really familiar with her work.
Hello, America. I'm Amy Klobuchar, and I will beat Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And they chanted, Amy, Amy,
Yeah,
Amy.
it's a real prairie fire. Again, we'll see if she can do anything other than surprise in New Hampshire. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Gil Barndollar. He is a New Hampshire native. He's also a fellow at the Catholic University of America Center for the Study of Statesmanship and a contributor to the American Conservative. Gil, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. So, give us your handle as a New Hampshire native on what the first, second, and third place performances mean for the Democrat primary.
Well, I think the interesting thing, I was at Bernie's rally and victory party last night, which was an interesting vibe. A lot of nervous energy as the vote count crept up, but the lead started to shrink. The interesting thing is that it's still going to be a very crowded field going to the next 2 primaries. You've only had a couple of second, third tier really candidates drop out, and you're going to have a packed lane, especially in the center, going into Nevada and South Carolina.
Why did New Hampshireans, I don't even know if that's what you call yourself, or people of New Hampshire, rally around Amy Klobuchar? Because she had a surprising third place
Staters
finish.
is, I think I was surprised. Actually, the debate I think really did help her, even on that dead zone on Friday night. There were a lot of undecided voters. I think as a result of a big field going into the last few days of the primary, potentially up to 40% of voters were still making up their minds, according to some polling. And I think there is, as I think you both said, there's a hunger for sort of a centrist candidate. Electability is still, I think, foremost on the minds of many, if not most, Democrats. And I think she sort of filled that lane as people had concerns about Biden and about Buttigieg.
Well, also, she did get the Manchester Union leader endorsement. So, I mean, so she did have a little pub going, a little momentum going, something to bandy about on the trail.
Yeah, she said same thing happened in Iowa, and of course she got half of that kind of weird New York Times split endorsement, so that stuff has helped her
And
too.
that half endorsement from the New York Times did nothing for Elizabeth Warren. She was polling high about a year ago in her state and just completely fell flat. What happened?
Yeah, as I wrote, I think Warren is, an interesting case. I think she, in a lot of ways, you may not like them or agree with them, but certainly had some of the most fleshed out policy proposals. Had a real, and I think relatively genuine, despite the Cherokee stuff and everything else, had a relatively genuine identity as a fighter for working families and a late in life politician. But she, I think, in trying to please all camps and trying to become someone that was palatable to the Democratic establishment, her campaign was sort of taken over by the sort of the Hillary Clinton alumni crowd and these people that really don't know how to win.
And for as much talk as there is about authenticity, particularly as it is used to explain Bernie Sanders loyalists, Mayor Pete is doing an impersonation of 2007, 2008 Barack Obama, but the people seem to like this.
Yeah, no, I saw him out at his veterans event on Wednesday, and personally I find it very, very empty. I think there's very little substance there. He's tough to pin down, even on something like foreign policy, even Afghanistan, which is part of his supposed reason for being in the race and the hinge of his foreign policy expertise. He won't say anything of substance. But it is, to me, it's a less savvy, less groundbreaking version of Obama.
Is anybody concerned about his age? I mean, he quoted the other day saying, I didn't watch the impeachment trial because I was turning on cartoons. And then last night he said, I respect Bernie Sanders. I have been following him or have been an admirer of his work since high school.
We've all been an admirer of his work since high school. Well, at least not an admirer, but we've been following his work since high school. We all
I guess
have.
He's been around for a long time, but does his age concern anybody besides Dan Proft?
I think it probably does. It is a funny dynamic, though, that he's got that weird inverted support where Buttigieg gets a lot of support, at least so far, from Boomer and even older Democrats, and is pretty broadly disdained, if not in some ways hated by his own generation and younger. Millennial voters flock to Bernie, who's 78 years old, and the older crowd is more apt to vote for Buttigieg. So it's a weird kind of thing there. You hear the joke that he's an old person's idea of what a young person is.
yeah.
That's a good one.
And so with respect to how this race is shaping up, I mean, could it be as much talk as there's been? Who is going to be Bernie's foil? Will it be Mayor Pete or Mayor Bloomberg? Could it end up being that actually it's Mayor Pete versus Mayor Bloomberg?
Oh, absolutely. If Klobuchar complicates things, right? I mean, I'm of the opinion, and I wrote at the beginning of the week after Iowa, I'm of the opinion that Biden's pretty close to a dead man walking. I mean, stranger things have happened, but the idea that he's going to resurrect his campaign overnight in Nevada and South Carolina to an even greater degree, I don't think that's going to happen. So I suspect it's going to come down to a knife fight early between Klobuchar and Buttigieg over the next couple of states into Super Tuesday, and then Bloomberg lurking in the background for all that money and all those favors he's calling in.
But Bernie Sanders supporters, the ones that I talked to over the weekend, they cannot stand Pete Buttigieg. They feel like he's going to be the Hillary and steal Bernie's thunder, and they are not going to support. They told me flat out, whoever wins a Democratic nominee, if it's not Bernie Sanders, we're going to stay home. We're not going to support him or her.
Yeah, I mean, that's the charge you're hearing, and the idea that Sanders is holding the party hostage. I do think to be fair, I think Sanders himself does not sound those notes at all. I mean, one of the very first things he said last night in a very kind of quick, truncated.
Gil, we're losing you there.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
I think one of the first things Sanders said last night was that he and his supporters would support the Democratic nominee no matter who it was. And
that's right.
The centrality of beating Trump. So I think he's certainly not going to sound those notes, and that fear may be a little overblown among sort of the center of the Democratic Party.
Whichever socialist is nominated, are we basically looking at a rerun of 2016? I mean, is it, as Peggy Noonan wrote a couple of weeks ago, does it feel like 2016 all over again, except this time with full employment?
In which way do you mean? I didn't see the Noonan column.
Well, I mean, just sort of in terms of the dynamic between the two parties, all of the institutions that have essentially maintained their position from 2016. So all of the talk for, give the media be an example, the Beltway press corps. We're going to go out in the hustings and figure out what we didn't see happening in Middle America to help explain Trump's 2016 victory. Well, that lasted for about 2 weeks before they became the formal communications arm of the resistance and have been aiding and abetting the Democrat storyline for the last 3+ years. And the approach to from the left and all of these candidates is not to moderate and make an appeal to coal miners in West Virginia or Rust Belt middle-income families. It's to go full-on trans rights and full-on cultural Marxism and full-on government takeovers, taking 180 million people's private health insurance, for example. So there have been no lessons learned, arguably on either side, from 2016, so we're setting up for a rerun.
Well, I think a lot depends on who the Democratic candidate is. I mean, the dynamics of a race with, let's compare Bloomberg and Bernie, are completely different, right? Bloomberg runs a very centrist, suburbs-friendly, kind of establishment campaign, has a lot of positive media attention, obviously throws around a ton of money. A Sanders campaign would be a very different gambit, would be a blue-collar insurgency, looking at really pumping turnout numbers up, about getting people on the sidelines and younger voters out. And that's the gamble of a Sanders campaign. But that is an anti-establishment campaign, a campaign that would draw probably tepid media support, in spite of how much many or most of the media really hate Trump. I think that the Sanders, nonetheless, has a lot of skeptics in the kind of center-left. So those would be two very different races, and I don't think certainly a Sanders-Trump election would be a rerun of 2016. It'd be a very different kind of animal.
Well, a different kind of animal in what sense?
Well, just in that they would both be seeing two campaigns. I mean, Trump, in a funny way, has to decide whether he's doing this "Keep America Great," rest on my successes and laurels and run a pretty safe campaign, or whether he's going to keep the secret to success was that kind of angry, insurgent, anti-establishment campaign. But it's a little tough to run against the establishment when you're governing, at least in theory. Because of how strange his administration has been, he could run an anti-government outsider campaign as the president's sort of semi-plausible. But Sanders is certainly going to run that kind of campaign.
Yeah. All right. He is Gil Barndollar, New Hampshire native, fellow at the Catholic University of America's Center for the Study of Statesmanship, and contributor to the American Conservative. Gil, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great talking to you. Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
If you've been in business more than 20 minutes, you've probably printed your logo on all kinds of promotional products. We all know logos work because they're on everything from the top of skyscrapers to the bottom of shoes. Ever wondered why? Or how to best use your logo to grow your business? Let us show you today for free. We're 4imprint, promotional product experts at your service. We're giving away the latest issue of Amplify, the digital magazine that reveals promotional product success stories absolutely free to everyone who texts BOOST to 88988. At 4imprint, we make your logo look perfect on thousands of promotional items. With our 100% guarantee, it'll be right the first time, on time, every time. Your free e-magazine will reveal invaluable insights that can attract new customers, build your brand, and grow your business. Get the latest issue of Amplify absolutely free by texting BOOST to 88988. That's BOOST to 88988.
Hey, if you've thought about taking advantage of the 2-for-1 offer on the MyPillow Giza cotton sheets, I suggest you do it today. It could be over any day now. And you've heard me talk endlessly about the great night's sleep I get with MyPillow and those soft, comfy, and cool Giza cotton sheets. So if you've procrastinated, do it now and get 2 sets for the price of 1. Plus, if you use the promo code Amy, A-M-Y, you can still get deep discounts on all MyPillow products, the mattress toppers, the new MyPillow towels, which are soft and absorbent, the pet beds, it all. You can get it all. Get a MyPillow travel pillow, too, all at reduced rates if you type AMY in that promo code. All products have a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. So go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special box, and get 2 sets of Giza cotton sheets for the price of 1, plus great deals on all other products. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201 and tell them Amy sent you.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan all year long that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other major medical carriers. If you're 50 and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. In Chicago, the least expensive ACA PPO health insurance plan is $570 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $8,150 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium down to $480 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $5,650 in total out-of-pocket cost per person with my lower deductible. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, it's been phenomenal.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore, and I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back, and it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. I recommend it to everybody.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so MCC is taking on AOC. Did you see this?
And yeah, you know me.
Michelle Caruso Cabrera, a former CNBC talking head, has filed to run against AOC in the Democrat primary for Congress this year. Caruso Cabrera boasts a similarly hardscrabble story, so reports the New York Post.
Which used to be a bartender?
She once worked as a waitress.
Oh. So did I. It's the admirable position, yes.
I'm the daughter and granddaughter of working-class Italian and Cuban immigrants.
Hey!
I'm so lucky to have had such a wonderful career, and I want everybody to have the opportunity that I had, she said, running to fight for the people of Queens and the Bronx. But you got to understand, when you take on AOC, you don't just take on AOC.
You take on her minions?
No. Well, yeah, but you take on AOC and her beau, Riley Roberts. They held an important Instagram confab over the weekend. You might have missed it. I don't miss it because I look forward to everything AOC has to say, and particularly if you include Beau Riley.
This is her boyfriend here?
Riley Roberts, who's a white dude, and AOC talking about racism. They've got some tips for you.
Oh, okay.
So, Riley, what has been helpful to you in combating racism?
I think it's helpful and important to talk to other white people about racism.
Riley. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people,
oh my God,
they don't want to be racist. They don't think that they're racist, but they also don't know some of the things that they believe or say are and can be racist.
Like tax cuts.
And I think one of the effective ways is just to talk and kind of help teach them about why some of the things they believe or say or think are wrong. Not necessarily racist, but that they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll sort of chip away and, contribute to some development in this area, but not necessarily take somebody from being a racist to not being a racist in one conversation.
And it's just always being open to learning about racist things that we may have said or done without judgment and defensiveness.
Is that foreplay for them? What is that?
That's gross.
I know. We should not ever use the word foreplay.
The greatest meeting of the mind since Jefferson dined alone. Right there, AOC and her Beau Riley.
Oof.
Talking about racism. I mean, in the abstract. Pete, you may not think you're thinking something racist or saying something racist, but you are. So if you want to bump up what you're thinking or saying and find out if it's racist, then just ping Riley or AOC there, and they'll help you out. AOC, by the way, also noting this weekend, I forgot to mention this yesterday, that her favorite economist, Milton Keynes, her favorite economist. And
it's not Hayek.
There is no such person as Milton Keynes. Yes. John Maynard Keynes.
So she had a bit of an Amy thing.
And Milton Friedman.
Milton Friedman.
She chalked it up to, I hate when I misspeak or make a typo. John Maynard Keynes, Milton Keynes. Is that a typo exactly? I don't know. I'm still wrestling with trying to ensure I'm not purveying, propagating.
Racist.
No.
Oh my God.
More important things like colonial cauliflower in my neighborhood in Streeterville, MAGA territory there. So a lot of things for AOC. Also, still getting over AOC's takedown of the Presidential Medal of Freedom being conferred to Rush Limbaugh. That is a sacred honor. A sacred honor.
And how dare they give it to him inside?
Sacred honor conferred to people like Joe Biden. That's how sacred it is. To Gloria Estefan. Sacred honor.
Don't forget Barbara Streisand.
Bespoiled by its being awarded to Rush Limbaugh. Again, James Woods is back on Twitter now.
Thank God.
He's been let out of Twitter jail. He missed AOC so much. I missed her a lot during the impeachment. If you know of something that she has said that we have somehow missed here, please do inform us, because I want to make sure that every utterance of AOC gets the sort of amplification that it so richly deserves.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Even the socialists are giving up on socialism, at least in Venezuela. We'll talk about that with Steve Moore at 7:37.
And after 14 days, the first Americans are out of quarantine. They celebrated by throwing up their masks. Whee. But now let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Partly to mostly sunny, 25 degrees. Bernie Sanders with a narrow lead after a victory in New Hampshire.
Let me take this opportunity to thank the people of New Hampshire for a great victory tonight.
The Vermont senator, the projected winner of yesterday's New Hampshire presidential primary, former Vice President Joe Biden, not receiving any New Hampshire delegates after Tuesday's washout in New Hampshire.
We just heard from the first 2 of 50 states. 2 of them. Not all the nation, not half the nation, not a quarter of the nation, not 10%, 2.
It's on to Nevada for Democrat presidential candidates after the New Hampshire primary. Nevada holds caucuses on February 22nd with the same app that plagued Iowa. Democrats will also be spending time and money in South Carolina. There will be a final goodbye today for thousands of aborted babies found in a South Bend, Indiana car and a storage facility. Volunteers are hosting a burial service for more than 2,400 aborted fetuses found in Dr. Ulrich Klopfer's personal items after his death last year. Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill will be at that service. The coronavirus that has sickened more than 42,000 people has a new official name, COVID-19. Former actor Jussie Smollett has been indicted for a second time on charges of lying to police about a racist and anti-gay attack he staged on himself last year in downtown Chicago.
A special prosecutor saying a new investigation launched after similar charges were abruptly dropped last year revealed Smollett reported a heinous hate crime that he in fact knew had not occurred.
The new indictment was brought by special prosecutor Dan Webb. A suburban St. Charles man is going to prison for sexually assaulting a child he knew. Ricardo Ramirez was sentenced this week to 14 years behind bars by a Kane County Circuit judge. The family of a man found beaten to death at Cook County Jail this month is suing. Pedro Ruiz's mother filed that wrongful death lawsuit yesterday after her 19-year-old son was found unresponsive in his cell February 1st. His cellmate has been charged with his murder. Number 23, Illinois rallied from 20 down but fell to unranked Michigan State 70-69 in Champaign. Professionally, Wizards over the Bulls, and on the ice, Oilers over the Blackhawks. The news service of Geico 15 Minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and auto insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. 7:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher has seen the worst from the left.
Rush Limbaugh announced yesterday he has been diagnosed with advanced lung cancer. If you had any doubt about how evil a lot of people are on the left, how vile and vicious and sick they are? You should take a stroll down social media and see some of the hideous things they've said about a 69-year-old man's cancer diagnosis.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Improving your home? Why not make it easy? Don't miss the Home and Garden Show this weekend at the Arlington Racecourse with free admission and parking. Find the ultimate in savings and convenience with thousands of the latest home products and services for the freshest ideas to remodel, repair, and beautify your home, inside and out. Get trusted advice on your upcoming projects as you speak with local and national experts who will help you with all of your home improvement needs. And be sure to attend the free expert seminars. Grab a seat for the free live cooking shows, see many live product demonstrations, register for the hourly cash giveaways, and so much more. From interiors to exteriors, from decor to outdoor, you'll find it all at the Home and Garden Show this weekend. Open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday and Sunday at the Arlington Racecourse, just east of Route 53 on Euclid in Arlington Heights, with free admission and free parking. For details, visit homeshowarlington.com. That's homeshowarlington.com.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, it's been phenomenal.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore, and I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back, and it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. I recommend it to everybody.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
7:36 Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, and Jim Telemonti.
Veterans Memorial northbound traffic's heavy bout to Maple. There was an earlier crash there. We see northbound tri-state delays, Southwest Highway to 75th, the Stevenson to 47th, and from Reagan Tollway to around the Eisenhower. The Edens runs 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. The Kennedy, O'Hare to downtown, 39 minutes. A little heavier in the Express than the locals. Inbound Eisenhower, 49 minutes, 390 to downtown. 36 from Wolf. Inbound Stevenson, now 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, ID to the Bird, Bishop 421. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, traffic slow Irving Park to Fullerton. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonti on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. In our 1 hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cloudy. Little snow by the afternoon. High 38, 2 to 4 inches of snow overnight, low 20. 25 at O'Hare under sunny skies. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by CharlesEquipment.com, keeping you powered up no matter what the conditions.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Well, a socialist won the Democrat New Hampshire primary last night, but a socialist in Venezuela are walking away from socialism.
Oh, no.
To some extent, in order to maintain their grip on power. After decades of dominating its oil industry, the Venezuelan government quietly surrendering control to foreign companies in a desperate bid to keep the economy afloat and hold on to power, reports the New York Times. Yeah. The power and legitimacy of the government rests on its ability to control the oil fields in Venezuela, the backbone of the country's economy, and use their profits to buy off enough people's support. But they got a real problem down there in Venezuela, you may have heard, with the performance of the economy that's cratered and sent 4 million people fleeing to Colombia, as we talked about over the holidays.
Yes, and thanks to all who contributed to Food for the Poor.
And so now that why would you give up control to private enterprises if you're the most efficient operator of a company? That's one of those conundrums I'd love to ask Bolshevik Bernie. Also this is relevant to the Democrat primary here too, since I believe all the candidates, maybe with the exception of Klobuchar, are in agreement that fossil fuel executives should be imprisoned in this country.
She does not agree with that.
Well, that's what they've done in Venezuela. Perhaps we forgot. A special envoy, top envoy to Venezuela, Elliot Abrams, said that 6 Citgo employees who've been detained by the Venezuelan government since 2017 without trial have been transferred to a prison in Caracas.
Oh, my gosh.
So, I mean, I know what they're going to say, right? As James Freeman writes in the Wall Street Journal. No, of course, that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about, the America's Democrat Socialists. It isn't? You've been asked about criminal prosecution of fossil fuel executives just for being fossil fuel company executives, and you've said yes. You're talking about taking over, just for starters, taking over approximately 1/50 of the economy by eliminating private health insurance. So what do you mean this isn't representative of what Democrats in this country want to do? For more on the topic, we're pleased to be joined by Steve Moore, noted economist, Wall Street Journal columnist, and author of Trumponomics, Inside the America First Plan to Revive Our Economy. Hey, Steve, how about that Venezuelan socialist giving up socialism?
Hi, guys. Good morning, guys. You know, it's interesting because whenever I do these debates about capitalism versus socialism, which are very hot on college campuses now, you know, and at least half the kids are for socialism. And, you know, I'll point to Venezuela or Cuba or North Korea or East Germany or whatever it is. And they'll say, oh, no, it's not that socialism we're talking about. We want the good socialism. That's like saying, you know, we want the good venereal disease, not the bad venereal disease.
Exactly.
But you know, I think that Maduro, if that story is true, that they're actually privatizing some of their energy industry, you put it very well, Dan. He is clinging by his finger nails to power as it slips away, and he's trying anything to hold that. Because look, that's what this is all about, folks. I mean, anybody who actually believes, oh, Democrats care about poor people, they care about minorities, they care about education. No, they care about one thing. They care about power. And it is interesting to me, and I have to say somewhat distressing, although my first choice, obviously, as someone who wants Trump to be reelected, is for Bernie Sanders to be the Democratic candidate. But, you know, part of me just thinks, God, what is wrong with our country? That almost 30% of the Democratic primary voters went out and voted for a wacko socialist who is, you know, you said it very well, Dan, all of the crazy things that he wants to do. You didn't add that he wants to, you know, return tax rates to 50, 60, 70%.
Right. Well, he also wants to eliminate all student debt and free college for everyone, and that's why he's attracting the millennials and, you know, the kids that are still in college.
Well, first of all, I mean, you know, everyone knows the unfairness of that policy, that kids who the pampered go to college should be, you know, people who didn't go to college, you have to pay more taxes to pay for kids who do. That's an injustice. Number two, I mean, I think Republicans have really fumbled this college tuition issue, because the way I like to put it is the single greatest scam in America, by a mile, is how much colleges and universities are charging our families. It is outrageous. And every college, I wish Trump in the State of the Union had just issued a plea to every college and university to cut their tuition in half. They could easily do it. You guys know I went to the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana back in the early 80s.
And what was it? Was $4,000 a year?
No, it was about $1,000 a semester, a little less than $1,000 a semester. Now it's well over $10,000 a semester, right? I mean, and these are ridiculous. So they have son who went to Northwestern with $72,000 a year. I mean, that's robbery. It's thievery. And there's no justification for it. The average tenured professor is teaching 4 hours a week, and they're getting $250,000 a year. I mean, the whole system has to crash. We need accountability in higher education. And I do feel for families. How do we? Why? What the worst thing you can do is saddle a kid who graduates from college with $100,000 of debt. It's ridiculous.
Well, right, and there was actually a pretty good analysis by an economist at FEE looking at the opportunity cost, something that we don't talk enough about. And basically, the average student right now coming out of college with $30,000 in debt, the opportunity cost of paying down that $30,000 loan is $1 million in savings that you could have had if you were investing in that same loan payment in a 401k rather than paying back the federal government.
Well, that's right. And Dan, here's another way of thinking about this for parents who have, juniors or seniors in high school. If you're paying, because I told my kids, look, I'll pay your college education, then you're on your own. But, let's say you have a kid who goes to, let's say Villanova. Villanova is like $68,000 a year. So you have to wonder, would it be better for a kid to go to that school for 4 years, or to just say, hey, here's a $250,000 check, start your life? I mean, you really have to start wondering, God, is this what? Not people. Oh, well, look at how much people who go to Harvard, Yale, or Princeton, do the people who don't. Well, that's because they're smart to begin with. It's not like they're getting some kind of super education at these schools. I mean, look, I'm not demeaning a college education, but when it's that expensive, you have to wonder, is that really? Look,
it can't be totally. It can't be totally inelastic, exactly. And I want to address another example of economic illiteracy here. This comes to us from NBC's Katie Tour, the former girlfriend of Keith Olbermann. She apparently hosts some kind of show on MSNBC where she blathers on, says dumb things like this. Yeah. She said the strong economic...
By the way, I have to just interrupt you for 1 second. Yeah. I think it's been at least 20 years since I've watched a network news show. I mean, seriously, I can't remember the last time. So I don't even know who these people are. But go ahead.
You're not missing much. But I mean, there are some people that listen to them, and you also sort of just need to highlight. She's this is the I guess the latest argument against the strong economic numbers touted by Trump and the White House.
Okay.
She said the economy is not working for the individual who spends up to 360 months paying off his car loan. Do you know of any 30-year car loans? That are being off.
Is that a 30-year car loan?
She said 360 months paying off your car loan. What car loan is that?
Dan, you're way behind the times. You don't understand. The Teslas cost $120,000. You need a 30-year.
Yeah, but you get a subsidy for it. Yeah. 360 months paying. This is the common touch that you get from the Beltway big government press corps. They're so in the position of the working man or woman struggling to make it by. They're very worried about that 30-year car loan that people have.
Yeah, because they have Porsches and they have Teslas and they have Beamers, and most Americans aren't buying those kind of cars. They can't afford them. But the media is so out of touch with the way real Americans live. And I think that's the thing that I really learned working on the 2016 campaign. When you would go to the middle of Pennsylvania or Ohio or West Virginia or Kentucky, and all these people. I mean, it was so strange, Anthony. Like when I'd be in Washington, all these liberals would scratch their heads like, why are people so angry? Everything's so good in America. It's like you live in a bubble of Washington D.C. The rest of the country, Washington D.C. is rich, and the rest of the country has been getting poorer, and they didn't really understand that because people in the media and people in government have no idea how most Americans now live. By the way, now you go to a lot of these towns in Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, and people are feeling a lot better about their life. So, and by the way, that's shown by that Gallup poll that showed 85% of Americans feel good about the direction of their life and their financial situation. That's a huge number.
All right. Speaking of money, President Trump released his budget earlier in the week. You wrote an article in USA Today, which Dan will tweet out, ustoday.com. What do you like about it? I mean, I know he's going to cut foreign aid, increase military spending, border wall funding. We obviously know the House isn't going to pass this, but is there something about it that piqued your interest?
Well, that's a good question. First of all, I'm really angry. Trump, all the headlines are, Trump wants to cut foreign aid by 22%, and Dan and Amy, I have a big problem with that. We shouldn't be cutting foreign aid by 22%. We should be cutting it by 100%. And by the way, that's the one set of programs that the American people totally want to get rid of foreign aid, and they're absolutely right. I've studied this issue for 30 years. You can't point to a single country ever that has developed because of U.S. foreign aid. It's like, giving a welfare payment to people. We know that saps them their energy. I don't have a problem with if there's a hurricane or an earthquake where people need relief or humanitarian assistance. But this idea that we send billions and billions of dollars to these countries is outrageous. We got problems in Chicago, I think. We got problems in Detroit. We got problems in Cleveland. I'd much rather have that money stay home. But I don't know how you guys feel about it. But, I think it was Milton Friedman who once said, foreign aid is taking, money from poor people in the United States and giving it to rich people in foreign countries. And that's
are we paying our enemies so they don't attack us? I mean, what's the point?
Well,
right?
That's right. It's pride. These are actually, Amy, you are 100% right. I remember when I first started at Heritage Foundation back in 1983, and I was doing our first kind of fiscal budget, where we came up with proposals to slash the budget. And I asked my boss, I said, why are we giving $2 billion a year to Egypt? And then we're giving $4 billion to Israel. I mean, why are we doing that? And my boss said, it's very easy. We are giving $2 billion a year to Egypt, so they will not invade Israel. I mean, it's just a bribe payment. And, maybe if that's the purpose, maybe it makes sense. It's like any idea that somehow there's, all this money. We've given $50 billion to sub-Saharan Africa. Dan, is there any sign that to actually help make those countries prosperous?
No, actually, there's a good book about that by George Ayete, who I know you know,
yep.
On how destructive that foreign aid has been actually
It's
to
been
those
destructive.
countries.
It's actually hurt. And by the way, then you've got places like Hong Kong. How much foreign aid have we given to Hong Kong? Zero. And it's one of the most prosperous places on the planet. So there's no association whatsoever between foreign aid and helping, people who are hungry or starving in these countries. It doesn't work. We know what works. It's free enterprise and capitalism, not socialism, Dan.
All right.
Socialism,
All right.
capitalism.
Got it. And we got you down. So your favorite economist, Milton Friedman, AOC's favorite economist, Milton Keynes. Okay, so we got... All right, so we distinguished those two. We're just keeping a running tally there. So, Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, author of the book Trumponomics. Thanks for joining us, Steve.
Okay, guys, have a great week. Take care.
You too.
Yep, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms but could never figure it out. No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable. But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms. Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
The American economy remains strong. Both business owners and employees are enjoying the benefits, as we were just discussing with Steve Moore. And here at AM 560, we want to celebrate the businesses that are thriving. Are you a business owner as part of this great American success story? If so, we want to hear from you. Once again, we're taking our show on the road starting tomorrow, actually. And we'll be broadcasting from Chicagoland businesses enjoying success as they serve their customers and clients through the hard work of their employees.
And tomorrow we're going to be at the Signature Bank branch in Rosemont.
Are we? Is it Rosemont?
Yeah, it is
we're
Rosemont.
Be?
So
okay.
if people want to stop by and say hi.
Yeah, very
some
good.
Free coffee and donuts.
Sure. Maybe open a demand deposit account.
You have to.
Take out a
open
commercial
a checking
loan.
account here if you want to come in and see a live broadcast.
Get a toaster. We want to hear your story, share your success, and find out what makes your business run. It is the Signature Bank Business Tour. To submit your business for consideration, just go to bankbusinesstour.com. That's bankbusinesstour.com. And like we'll be at Signature Bank tomorrow, we may be broadcasting from your business in the near future.
feel better and look better with the Vein Center of Orland Park. Whether you're seeking treatment for varicose veins, spider veins, or facial spider veins, Dr. Kiefner at the Vein Center of Orland Park is the vein specialist to see. The Vein Center of Orland Park is a specialty vein center offering the latest in vein treatments for your vein problems. It's Dr. Kiefner's private medical practice with over 30 years diagnosing and treating vein-related disorders for men and women. Dr. Kiefner is one of the most experienced vein specialists in the United States. Schedule an appointment today and see for yourself at veincop.com or call 708-460-8800. That's 708-460-8800.
This is Dr. Kiefner. With our experience treating vein disorders, I'm confident we can help you. Visit us at veincop.com, veincop.com, or call 708-460-8800. I look forward to seeing you.
A systems analyst is wanted, responsible for design and implementation of client-server and system applications, as well as overseeing application architecture development and production support. Park Ridge, Illinois. Send resume to Peterson Technology Partners, Inc., 1030 West Higgins Road, Suite 230, Park Ridge, Illinois, 60068. Attention, Jay Johnson. Once again, send resume to Peterson Technology Partners, Inc., 1030 West Higgins Road, Suite 230, Park Ridge, Illinois, 60068. Attention, Jay Johnson.
How do you share the gospel with confidence? What's God's plan for our communities? Why does the Old Testament matter to your faith today? Those are just a few of the questions you'll get answered when you enroll in the Tony Evans Training Center, an interactive online study experience with Dr. Tony Evans, where you can grow in your knowledge of God's Word and learn to advance His kingdom agenda in your life. Visit TonyEvansTraining.org to get started today. That's TonyEvansTraining.org.
What would you do if you knew there was a place to learn step-by-step strategies designed to help you make the right moves inside the financial markets? A place to develop skills that can help you generate income and build confidence toward your retirement goals. At Online Trading Academy, we know there's an investor in all of us, and we know how to teach people just like you the skills and knowledge that could empower you to take better control of your financial future. Start by taking our free introductory class at a location near you. Learn about the biggest mistakes investors make and how you can learn to avoid them. Plus, you'll learn strategies that could help you make your money work harder for you. For over 20 years, Online Trading Academy has been teaching students skills designed to help them learn to invest with the confidence of the pros.
Call 844-778-7132 for 2 free tickets to a class in your area and receive our Professional Insiders Kit with lessons from our top instructors just for attending. That's 844-778-7132. 844-778-7132 or visit otaclass.com.
I know we have a lot of shooting enthusiasts listening right now. This is Dan Proft, and I want to tell you about a truly special, family-friendly, private shooting facility. And I should know, I'm a member of Aurora Sportsman's Club. Here's David Lombardo, the club's past president and On Target Radio co-host.
Thanks, Dan. ASC has 285 acres composed of 4 shooting complexes for a total of 22 ranges from 50 feet to 600 yards, with more in development. Our family memberships allow drawing from the holster, moving and shooting steel. Our 2 shotgun complexes offer wobble trap, double trap, 2 standard trap fields, 2 skeet fields, 5 stand, and one of the most challenging sporting clays courses in the Midwest. Additionally, we offer fishing and hunting. In March and April, we're holding our annual family membership drive.
It sure sounds good to me, David. How do they get more information?
Visit aurorasc.org or call 815-264-9000. That's aurorasc.org for a better shooting experience. aurorasc.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, Steve in Glencoe has a question from our interview with Steve Moore.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. I agree that college tuition is exorbitantly expensive and far too high.
Mm-hmm.
And there are sort of 2 ways to remedy it, short of price controls. One is you could start allowing college students to declare bankruptcy again, right? That would be one idea. The other idea would be to subsidize college tuition.
That happens.
But politically, neither of those would work because only farmers seem to get socialism and only Donald Trump seems to be allowed to declare bankruptcy.
Yeah, okay, Steve. 2 things. One is, what do you, I mean, are you unfamiliar with how college financing works? You seem to be. Number one, college tuition is subsidized. State support for colleges and universities is effectively a tuition subsidy, isn't it? In addition to the financing scheme set up by the federal government, why not return financing of college education to private banks rather than have it through Sallie Mae? What about that? With respect to bankruptcy, yeah, I agree with you that this is a special exemption the federal government gave itself with respect to college loans. There's no real explanation for it. It's not dischargeable except under undue stress, and you have to go litigate that in a bankruptcy court, proceeding. But yeah, it's a special deal that the federal government has given itself 7 ways from Sunday. That's the problem.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we'll talk to cultural critic Denise McAllister about how Hollywood brainwashes you at 8:08.
But now let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Sunshine in your forecast, but snow arrives later this afternoon. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. It's a new Democratic race after New Hampshire. I'm Dave Anthony.
This victory here is the beginning of the end for Donald Trump.
Bernie Sanders won the primary, getting nearly 26% of the vote, but 2 other Democrats weren't far behind. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal live in Nashua.
And Dave, it was another close finish. Former Mayor Pete Buttigieg coming in second, a couple of points behind Bernie Sanders. Without mentioning Sanders by name, Buttigieg said a broader strategy is needed to beat President Trump.
Vulnerable Americans do not have the luxury of pursuing ideological purity over an inclusive victory.
While the third place isn't winning, it's certainly new life for Senator Amy Klobuchar's campaign as she beat expectations.
Because of you, we are taking this campaign to Nevada.
While Warren and Biden finished in 4th and 5th, they told their supporters their campaigns will continue on, Dave.
Just after finishing far back, Andrew Yang and Michael Bennet dropped out of the presidential race. Deval Patrick is considering it. President Trump won big in the Republican primary, getting 85% of the vote. Bill Weld got just 9%, and the president tweeted this morning a congratulations to Attorney General Bill Barr for taking charge of a case involving a longtime Trump associate that he wrote is totally out of control.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer want to know more about the Justice Department's decision to walk back a lengthy prison term for Roger Stone, who was convicted of witness tampering and lying to investigators in the Russia probe. 4 career prosecutors withdrew from the case after the department criticized a recommended sentence of up to 9 years.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. A skirmish in Syria today. U.S. forces out on patrol encountered a checkpoint run by pro-Syrian forces. State media reports civilians repelling the convoy with stones. Then someone started shooting at the Americans, who fired back in self-defense, says the U.S. military. 1 Syrian reportedly killed. America's listening to Fox News.
We have sunshine right now, 25 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Former actor Jussie Smollett has been indicted for a second time on charges of lying to police about a racial and anti-gay attack that he staged on himself last year in Chicago. The new indictment was brought by Special Prosecutor Dan Webb, who was appointed to investigate problems with how the office of Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx bungled that case. An investigation continues after gunshots were fired at a home in Round Lake Park. Police say the shooting happened yesterday morning across the street from an elementary school in the 200 block of Greenwood Drive. No one was hurt. The shooter remains on the loose. Cook County Sheriff's Office is investigating whether an Evergreen Park pediatrician who committed suicide last year had been falsifying documents for parents who didn't want to vaccinate their children. Sheriff Tom Dart says a suicide note left by Dr. Van Conis raised questions about the record-keeping of vaccinations at his medical practice. Conis is a known advocate of homeopathic medical tracts. Chicago sports, number 23 Illinois rallied from 20 down but still fell to unranked Michigan State 70-69 in Champaign. Bradley Beal 30 and the Wizards win over the Bulls, and the Blackhawks beaten by the Oilers 5-3. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Deirdre Bolton, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Nokia and Deutsche Telekom have just pulled out of the Mobile World Congress meeting in Barcelona, Spain, because of the coronavirus outbreak. Organizers are meeting on Friday to decide whether to cancel the event. It's scheduled to start February 24th. It's considered the telecom industry's biggest meeting of the year. Intel, Sony, Amazon, and Facebook have also bailed out of the conference. CVS Health is reporting a better-than-expected quarter. Molson Coors quarter was also better than forecast. You'll be seeing a lot more hard seltzer this year. Barron's Magazine says sales are expected to double. Anheuser-Busch InBev, Molson Coors, and Constellation Brands, Corona's parent company, are now all selling or about to launch hard seltzer products. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
It's 8:04. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Steve Cortez.
Regarding Vindman, a mid-level bureaucrat, which is what he is in the National Security Council, does not have the right to determine the foreign policy of the United States of America. Donald Trump was hired essentially to be the leader of American foreign policy, and he deserves a staff that aims to fulfill his priorities, not the goals of the political class.
The Steve Cortez Show. Weeknights at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, America.
Or is it? If you're one of the millions of Americans who did not sleep well last night, it's probably a pretty average morning.
But listen up, you sleep-deprived people. There's good news. A breakthrough sleep solution called Pronto Sleep.
And when we say pronto, we mean pronto. Pronto Sleep gently opens your nose to focus breathing and help you relax and fall asleep. And the built-in scent diffuser delivers a blend of 4 pure essential oils to help you stay asleep naturally.
And then Pronto replenishes the oils ready for the next night. Too easy, eh?
And in trials, 84% of people with trouble sleeping found Pronto helped them fall asleep, and 74% found it helped them stay asleep. So make every morning a
Good Morning America.
With Pronto Sleep, available now at select Walgreens, Amazon, or at prontosleep.com.
Pronto Sleep from Rhinomed, bringing you advanced nasal therapies.
This is the Frells family. They live on a piece of land they call greener pasture, and they work on it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. With its durable construction and features that hook up to dozens of attachments with ease, no job is too tough. The Frells family runs with us, because this is more than just land. It's home. Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Attention everyone! With Dell's President's Day sale, get monumental savings on Dell Business PCs with Intel Core processors and Business Tech. Deals are live now with doorbusters up to 60% off on President's Day the 17th. Our small business technology advisors can help you find the right tech for your business at President's Day prices by calling 877-BUY-DELL. Plus, get free shipping on everything. Just call 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/business deals.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
8:07, Team Hotburg Traffic Center time, and Jim Talamonte.
Northbound Tri-State traffic jammed Southwest Highway to 75th Street. Then it's heavy from the Stevenson to 47th and from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. But Adams Tollway, little tight from 59 to Higgins and Hoffman Estates. Eastbound Reagan Tollway to delays. Farnsworth to Washington. Northbound Veterans Memorial, Fountain to the Reagan Tollway. Edens, 19 minutes. Lake Hook to the junction. Kennedy, 52 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 30 from Montrose, little heavier in the Express. Eisenhower looking at 55 minutes, 390 to downtown, 38 from Wolf. Stevenson, 59 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 22 minutes, siding to the merge, Bishop 419. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, mostly cloudy skies, a bit of snow this afternoon, little or no accumulation, high 38. Snow tonight, 2 to 4 inches expected, low 20. Cloudy, cold, snow and flurries tomorrow, another 1 to 2 on the way, the high 24. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
25 at O'Hare. That's sunshine out there right now. Your next news update is at 8:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Well, white male rage was supposed to be all current in Hollywood, at least with respect to nominations. It didn't turn out that way so much in terms of the actual victors in the Oscar lottery there. I mean, with the exception of Joaquin Phoenix, and he really downplayed the rage by spending most of his time talking about how we're stealing cows' milk from their calves.
Yeah, we're breeding cows and then stealing their milk
right.
without their consent, and we need freedom for animals.
So that was like bovine rage.
Right,
Yeah, so that certainly blunted that.
And then you had, Brad Pitt's one-liner about John Bolton.
Right, but I mean, remember the SNL skit that was, it was all white male rage because of the Joker and, and other movies that were being feted. And, it turns out that white men didn't fare too well the Academy Awards, so I guess that's progress, at least according to Hollywood and the Identitarians. But what are we getting from Hollywood, and how impactful is it? We know it's a powerful medium. We know storytelling is a powerful communication tool, persuasive communication tool. So shouldn't we examine a little bit about what stories are emanating from Hollywood and the kind of cultural impact they're having? Denise McAllister did that recently in an interview at the blog Hollywood in Toto, which was quite good. She is a journalist and social commentator, also the co-author of Spygate, the attempted sabotage of Donald J. Trump. Denise, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here.
So with respect to the whole white male rage argument in the run-up to the Oscars, you addressed that in this interview I referenced, and talk more about how men are portrayed in film more generally to try to deal and provide, instruction to the larger world about masculine toxicity.
Yeah, well, I just finished writing a book. It's out today. It's called What Men Want to Say to Women But Can't, and it's based on this whole idea that men have really been targeted in our society, and masculinity has been targeted. And you do see this in film, and, art, it both directs culture and reflects it. So they're picking up cues from the culture as well as reinforcing them. And this whole idea that men, particularly white men, have had their place in the front for too long in our society, and that if they're truly going to be egalitarian, then they need to give up their places for the marginalized and for various identity groups. So we've moved from a society that's based on merit and based on performance, and we've moved to your sex, the color of your skin instead of the content of your character, because they see that history has been unfair, and men need to actually voluntarily step aside. And if you don't, you're guilted into it.
Well, I have two young boys, 15 and 16 now, and, it's like you're guilty even if you're accused. And there's certain things that I have to tell them that you can't say to women, and what advice do you have?
Well, that's with my book, it's what men want to say to women but can't. And it's just like what you just said, that they can't because they're going to get backlash, they're going to be called sexist, they may lose their jobs, if they're simply honest about what's going on. And, my advice to them is, where you can speak up, do so. But the reason why it is so difficult for them is one reason why I wrote my book, one reason why I talk about things about film and various aspects of society, is that women need to step forward who see that this is intrinsically unfair, that this is wrong, and actually speak out to culture on men's behalf because they are so silenced. That this kind of equal outcomes and demanding, gender parity, and that we have to have the exact same number of CEOs that are women as men, no matter whether you earn it or not. And ironically, everyone wants a CEO position, but they don't want to do all the dirty jobs and dangerous jobs that men do. So, we need to be speaking out. So, my advice isn't so much to men themselves. I think they're in a hard spot here, but to women, stop this, and speak out, and recognize that this is not right. This is not America, and this is not liberty.
Yeah, but what about male pandering, though? And you see this all the time from those artists in our culture. They buy the pap that comes out of Hollywood. That the sort of a Jim Belushi character, and according to Jim, they're the hapless husband who's always getting in the way, and he's just such a dope, and he can't stand upright without his wife telling him what to do and where to stand and how to dress. It's so funny to me in Hollywood, if white men in particular, but not necessarily limited to white men in general. They're dopes. They're either dopes, or at the same time, they're entrenched power interests. And so which is it? They're these entrenched power interests, or they're adults that can't, accommodate daily tasks and otherwise take care of themselves?
Well, that's where you definitely have the art imposing its will onto culture rather than reflecting it, because their belief that culture as it is that men are too powerful, but what they want to impose on culture in order to change it is that men are worthless. Men can't be trusted. If anyone saw on Netflix the Lost in Space series, the man in that, who's supposed to be this really strong male Navy SEAL, is constantly minimized by his more brilliant, more capable, more emotionally intelligent wife, and so he's diminished instead of seeing two strong people working together. I mean, sometimes you do see that in that series, but it's so overtly over the top. Kind of putting the man down in his place, even about physical things. One thing in Hollywood that really drives me crazy are all the superhero women and all the women who can kick butt out there, and that has no relevance to reality because women are not as strong as men. And, we actually create kind of a fantasy that can put women in danger because they think they can do these things and they are so physically independent. But they're not. We really do need men. We need men to protect us. We need men to be strong because we simply aren't. And that's another thing that men can't say to women is that, no, you're not as strong as we are. You do need us. Quit denigrating us and let us be the strong men that we want to be and are designed to be.
Do you think there'll ever be a time when men might open the door for us again, possibly? Or maybe help us as we struggle into our, apartments with groceries or anything? Sometimes I look around, I beg, my neighbors know that my back is out and it's going to snow here. Do you think a man would step forward in my neighborhood and say, I'll shovel for you. I'll help you out?
Well, it's interesting. I tell a story in my book about not long ago during the winter, I went and got some firewood from the grocery store. Yes, firewood from the grocery store. And so I'm taking it out. It's raining and I'm kind of dragging it along. It's really heavy. And some man walks up to me and goes, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he immediately starts apologizing and getting kind of nervous. Because it's not that I think you can. I just thought you said, and I immediately stopped him. I said, "It's okay. It's okay. I am super appreciative. I know I can do it, but you've made it so I don't have to."
Yeah, it would have been better though if he just rooted you on. Come on, you can do it. You can get it to the
you
car.
Faster. What's wrong with you? What are you, a chick?
Give you the little engine that could speech. Yeah, absolutely.
But I have the pride. I'm not too proud to be able to ask for help. And instead of trying, here I am, woman, here we roar. I can do it. Why? When I can have the help of a man, and then he can get the joy out of helping a woman. We all win.
Wanted to also to take note of the film Little Women. I haven't seen it yet. I did read the book in high school.
Yes.
And so I was interested in this review in the Wall Street Journal that found that the adaptation of Louisa May Alcott's book expunged God from Little Women. What a shock there with the hostility towards Christianity coming from Hollywood. But it is interesting, and this, of course, is applicable across the gender divide. The hostility towards religion, even in telling a classic tale like Little Women.
Well, I think the attack on masculinity in men is not separate from the attack on Christianity and God, because masculinity is one aspect of the image of God in man that is in this world, and those who hate Christianity, hate God, hate His image in man, in women, in humanity, and they also hate the authority and the power that comes with that image, and so there's a way of really reducing humanity and attacking humanity by removing men from the picture. I often say that our liberty will be lost if we lose masculinity. Our freedom will be lost. And, those who hate God hate liberty at the core. They talk about it a lot. They talk about freedom a lot, but they really don't like it, which is like why they're always taking it away. And one of the biggest ways is to remove men from it. So there's a correlation and a connection between anti-God and anti-man.
How much of this do you think is ideological, and how much of it is just a put on to cover their own barbarism? So the infamous video of Meryl Streep standing and applauding Roman Polanski, all those who flacked for Harvey Weinstein for all those years, who now have all the Me Too garb on and are finger wagging, all men accused of anything, regardless of how the facts actually turn out. They may turn out one way in the Weinstein case, and it looks like they're turning out in a very different way for the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case, just to highlight two examples. How much of it do you think is just a put on so that they have license to behave like they really want to?
Well, I think their ideology runs up against their practicality. And, they have these ideals of, being so proper and anti-man and egalitarian and this equity, equal outcomes and all of that they espouse, and women being strong. But yet, that's their ideology. But it doesn't correspond with what they do in their everyday life. And so they kind of have to, mainly because you have immature men, you have immature women, you have all of these examples that you just gave, where they are pandering for their own self-interest and their materialism and their greed and their ambition, which are all very real, and more than their pride is probably bigger than their ideology. But they don't want anyone to know that, because they want to feel good about themselves, and they want to feel good about their ideology. So that's what they put out front and center, despite the hypocrisy of it all.
She is Denise McAllister. She's a journalist, social commentator, author of Spygate, The Attempted Sabotage of Donald J. Trump. Also, new book, What Men Want to Say to Women But Can't. Boy, there's a million punchlines you could do. Denise McAllister, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's great. Have a great day.
You too.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
You've heard Rumpke's Garage commercials on AM 560, and now they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. But the experts at Rumpke's also service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck but aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Rumpke's Garage, your #1 dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Rumpke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Rumpke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to Rumpke'sGarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Rumpke's, REMKES, Garage.com.
If you are looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, then you need to call Team Hochberg. Today, meet Joe, who has heard thousands of my ads, but called his local bank to refinance. Bad move. Joe's bank declined his loan due to insufficient income, so he called Team Hochberg, which he should have done in the first place. Team Hochberg loan officer Sarah Ruffer helped Joe refinance, pay off credit cards, and reduce his payment $600 a month. Let's review. Team Hochberg used the same exact information Joe's bank used to decline his loan, but we refinanced his loan and saved him over $7,000 a year. If you want to get off the credit card merry-go-round, call Team Hochberg now about a cash-out refinance. Seriously, what are you waiting for? Call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg helped Joe and thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. If you need windows, call the exterior experts.
Call Crumweedy.
Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy. Well, they run a third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland exteriors now since 1953. And for them, it's all about trust, and they truly share your values. Why windows from Crumweedy? Now, Crumweedy windows are not offered anywhere else in Chicagoland. They are exclusive, and that's why they can offer a lifetime material and labor installation guarantee. A lifetime. That's a great investment for your home. Windows from Crumweedy are Energy Star rated, unlike most other windows. Also, the vinyl windows are 100% virgin vinyl. You're getting quality windows with a lifetime material and labor installation. Now, if your windows are needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. The name is not easy to spell. Just remember this. WindowsAreNeedy.com. WindowsAreNeedy.com.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
Balance of Nature has pushed me up a notch or two, I would say. I was feeling fine, but now I'm feeling even better. So I'm sure it's contributed.
I actually lost 2 inches off my waist. I'm really more energetic, too. I bounce out of bed in the mornings. People at work have been sick, and I haven't gotten anything. So something's working. Something is definitely changing. I think it's helping my immune system. I really do.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I want to get to the indictment of Jussie Smollett, that French actor. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Is Jussie
Smollett.
No, Jussie Smollett, the French actor, you know.
Mike on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, good morning. I couldn't let it slide. Amy was whining about having some man come and shovel for her. She has a bad back. Are you going to cook and clean for him? What are you going to bring to it? You got 2 teenage sons.
Oh.
When I was still in grade school, I had 2 paper routes. They're pampered. Your
And
kids
you walked
are pampered.
uphill both ways.
No,
to and from
I
school.
cleaned the windows at the grocery store. Let me finish.
Okay,
I cleaned
let me finish.
offices.
Yes.
You want a sugar daddy, but you're not giving up any sugar.
Oh, I see what you're saying there. You know what, Mike? You're right. I do have 2 sons that could shovel for me, but they're in school, and I like to get it done right after work.
No. Before they go to school, they get up and they shovel.
Hey, they have basketball
They're
practice
gonna-
at 6 a.m.
Oh, they're
shoveling
pampered
dirt.
public school kids.
Oh, yeah, right.
Amy
Taking
socialism
the bus
wants
and
everybody else to. Everybody wants. Amy wants everybody else to take care of her, do for her, but then she says, "Hey, my taxes went up."
And what about
Let your kids take care of the lawn.
And what about pampered city workers, Mike?
Yeah, Mike. How's your pension? Big pockets. Sugar daddy.
That's right.
You got
Just
some
keep
sugar
paying
in the
your taxes
daddy,
till I
huh?
get
Don't
it.
you?
Yeah.
Just keep paying your tax. There
I
you
did
go.
a lot of work for that pension. A lot more than you did to get the snow shoveled.
Oh, you want to go?
All right, thanks for the call, Mike. This is devolving quickly. Which
love
reminds me,
Mike.
we need to start this
What?
installment, this new installment, Public Sector Pension Millionaire. We need like a Thurston Howell or something intro for this. The Public Sector Pension Millionaire of today.
Wait. Sorry, this just in. We have what you've requested.
Oh.
Listen up.
Get down with AOC.
No, that's not it. What are you? Here we go.
It's time for your daily edition of Public Sector Pension Millionaire of the Day.
Hey.
That's sort of zesty.
Woo!
I like it.
I want to hear it again.
We thought there's something like the Underwood Academy. But it was sort of a Marlon Brando thing I had going on there too. I think so. That's not
Yeah,
quite
you
it,
are right
but you know what
over
I'm
there.
saying. It's like something very upper crust,
the
something
public pension.
you picture somebody wearing an ascot.
All right, so you want him to
I
revoice
don't
it?
know, I mean,
It's catchy.
It is catchy.
All right, who are we featuring today, or who are you featuring today?
This is sort of fun because you can just spin the wheel. So you can just tell me what page to stop.
Stop.
All right. And how many lines should I go down?
3.
1, 2, 3. Today, let me introduce you to James D. Bailey. He is
Mr. Bailey.
He's a retired.
Sorry.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Sorry.
Really?
Okay, go ahead.
Wow. Quincy School District 172.
Yeah.
All
Small
right.
town.
His current annual pension is $110,000 a year.
Okay.
His total career contributions to his pension.
How much?
$137,000.
Okay.
He retired at the age of 59.
Got it.
His total pension to date is $1.079 million.
In Quincy? Wow, that's like $5 million in Quincy. Okay.
His total expected lifetime payout will be just under $3 million, $2.968 million.
You know, this segment should be called Sugar Daddy of the Day.
Well, and mommy, sugar daddies and mommies.
And mommies.
$137,000 he paid into his pension. He will get an expected lifetime payout of $3 million. He paid in 4.6% of what he expects to get. He only paid in 4.6% of his expected lifetime return. $3 million pension. Retired at the age of 59.
Single or not single?
Don't know the particulars. Yeah, we'll have to get that. I should make up a dating site for the.
You know what?
The
Illinois
widow.
Pensioners.com.
That's like being Millionaire Matchmaker. That's like me being that Patty Stanger woman that used to have that show. I could be Millionaire Matchmaker, just matching up Illinois pensioners, public sector pensioners.
Okay.
Public sector pensioners.
PPS,
Important qualifier.
Looking for love.
All right, congratulations to James. What did I say, Davis?
Bailey.
Oh, James Bailey, right? James
Now
Bailey
cross him
from
off your
Quincy.
list.
Yeah. All right, James Bailey. He's our.
It's time for your daily edition of Public Sector Pension Millionaire of the Day.
You know what? It is. It's going because it's Looney Tunes. I like the Looney Tunes thing because this is Looney Tunes. This state. All right, I think we'll stick with it.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to British spy novelist Jeremy Duns about how Ian Fleming's character, Ian Fleming, the Bond creator, is being assassinated by the illiterati. We'll talk to him at 8:38.
And new indictments against Jussie Smollett and what it means for Kim Fox. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Some sunshine right now, a few thin clouds, 26 degrees. It's back on the campaign trail this morning as the Democrat presidential candidates prepare for Super Tuesday. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders now leads the pack after winning a tight race over South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Another second-place finish for Mayor Pete.
There's going to be a very clear choice here. Senator Sanders, who I respect, and he had a great night as well last night, but he's got an approach that says you're either for a revolution or you got to be for the status quo. Most people don't see where they fit in that message.
He's also continuing to insist he's here to stay. The same could not be said for the two other candidates that dropped out yesterday, Andrew Yang and Colorado Senator Michael Bennet. The coronavirus that sickened more than 42,000 has a new official name this morning. COVID, COVID-19. World Health Organization unveiling the name yesterday. U.S. household debt exceeds $14 trillion for the first time. The Fed releasing a report this week saying Americans increased their borrowing for the 22nd straight quarter. Former actor Jussie Smollett has been indicted for a second time on charges of lying to police about a racial and anti-gay attack that he allegedly staged on himself. The new indictment was brought by Special Prosecutor Dan Webb. Authorities in Plainfield say a local man died 2 days after being mauled by a pit bull. Chicago Tribune says 25-year-old Devin White of Plainfield was visiting another home in his near community when the animal attacked him and 3 other people. Cubs are giving Jason Kipnis a shot. Now, you may remember that name. Club is reportedly signing the second baseman to a minor league deal. Kipnis is a graduate of Glenbrook North High School. He also helped the Indians advance to the World Series in 2016 when they lost to the Cubs. Number 23, Illinois rallied back from a 20-point deficit but fell to unranked Michigan State 70-69 in Champaign. The news service of Staples Print and Marketing Services gives you a kickstart with custom color marketing materials. Save 20% when you order 2 or more signs, posters, or banners. Ends $229.20. Must order 2 or more of the same item for discount. See store or staples.com/print25 Staples. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather is coming up next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher warns the Democrats of November.
They're not going to be laughing the morning after the election. They weren't laughing the morning after the election in 2016. And they're not going to be laughing after the election in 2020. They're having a great time now. American people are paying attention. There is something happening in America, and it's not a happy ending for the Democrats.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This is attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on AM 560 every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. Let me tell you about Bill. Bill's business slowed down and he fell behind on his taxes. Instead of filing his tax return, he decided to wait until he could pay. Well, 1 year turned to 2, turned to 3. Then the IRS threatened to contact his customers, take his house, his bank account, and his passport. Well, Bill hired me. We filed all of his tax returns and an appeal to slow the IRS down. Then we worked out an installment agreement based on how much he could pay, not on how much he owed. Now Bill can rely on the IRS protection plan. We will file his future tax returns and keep the IRS off his back so Bill can focus on growing his business. If you have questions about the IRS, you can get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today, to learn the secrets of solving your IRS problem and save your business, your marriage, and your reputation. Call 312-664-6649. or go to freeirsbook.com.
10, 15, 20, 30-year term, whole life, universal life, index universal life, variable universal life, long-term care. Are you confused yet? No need to be. For nearly 3 decades, Northern Resource Group has assisted families and businesses understand the maze of insurance and safe money choices. Then, after careful analysis of your needs, they shop and search every leading company to find the best products and services for your family or business. Whether it's tax advantage policies, living benefits, simple term insurance, or something else, Northern Resource Group excels in selection, underwriting, and service. Call Chicagoland-based Northern Resource Group to receive your free, valuable, all-life report. It's packed with educational and easy-to-understand information. Call toll-free 888-762-8020 or visit northernresourcegroup.com. Northern Resource Group, Chicagoland's insurance and safe money professionals. That's 888-762-8020 or online at northernresourcegroup.com. Again, that number, 888-762-8020.
Get the best sleep of your life. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their holiday sale.
8:36 in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. We get the very latest now with Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Kennedy traffic is heavy. Bryn Mawr to the Bird Circle. It's 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 31 from Montrose. 30 in the Express. Outbound 31 minutes to the airport. Edens, 19 minutes. Lakewood to the junction. Outbound 26. The Eisenhower is running 49 minutes. 390 to downtown. 33 from Wolf. Outbound 36 minutes for 390. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 30. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 21 minutes, 90 to the merge, Bishop 419. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is heavy, Montrose to North Avenue, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Veterans Memorial. The delays are diminishing a bit, it's still heavy, 75th Street, Reagan-Tilway. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sun this morning, clouds this afternoon. Snow begins to pick up around 5:30 or so. High 38, 2 to 4 inches of snow overnight. Low of 20. 25 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, really interested in this next gentleman. He wrote an extensive piece about Ian Fleming, of course, the creator of the James Bond character, all the novels that have been made into movies and so forth. I think this is a seminal British author, seminal British spy novelist like Jean le Carré. But this extensive piece was a bit surprising to me. I didn't realize how little support that Ian Fleming had in the cognoscente community in English literary circles. But this is what Mr. Duns lays out in his piece. And I thought it'd be interesting. Let's do a little bit of a literature corner here. Broaden our reach, just get out of the mundanities of politics.
An early Valentine's gift for me.
That's right. Exactly. Right.
You know, our listeners.
Our listeners are well read, and they are interested in more than just
Jussie Smollett.
and political tomes, and right, and some of the cheap cultural stuff. This is enjoyable reading. Spy novels, a great spy novel. Night Manager. I enjoyed a lot of Ian Fleming's work, too, so I don't know what I'm missing. Jeremy Duns is a British author of spy fiction in his own right and the history of espionage, and he has written this piece I mentioned at his blog, jeremy-duns, DUNS.com, Enemy Action. He was the critic's darling until he wasn't, talking about Ian Fleming. Jeremy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me on.
So what happened to Ian Fleming? You begin at the beginning, which is always a good place, and talk about how well Casino Royale was received. But then by the early 70s, after Live and Let Die, it started to turn for him. Because when I first saw the headline of your piece, I'm thinking, there's a recasting of Ian Fleming in the the hashtag Me Too era, and now Bond is seen as some sort of male chauvinist, predator, toxic masculinity, example of toxic masculinity. But that's not really the case. Ian Fleming started falling out of favor with the critics 40 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, that whole thing about that he's a chauvinist and a sexist and a racist really stems from British literary reviewers back in 1954 with his second novel, Live and Let Die. And where he went wrong really was he became too successful. It was really that they weren't expecting someone. It was okay that he wrote a thriller. That was fine. That was fun. But when lots and lots of people started reading it, then it couldn't be literature anymore. So they went out of their way really to bring him down.
And the basis for the critics of his age bringing him down.
Well, the basis was supposedly kind of the things that you've mentioned, that he was a chauvinist, that it was morally dubious, that James Bond was a kind of cad. There was the most famous piece came out in 1958, was titled Sex, Snobbery, and Sadism. And those are the three things that have really been leveled at him since. But what I've tried to show in my essay is that these were really excuses, because none of these critics had, in fact, I mean, I proved that the biggest critic of him had not read Ian Fleming's work. So they were really looking for reasons to bring him down, but the reasons themselves were not valid.
And this the critics, I mean, some of the sort of leading intellects of the day, people that like William F. Buckley had great admiration for, Malcolm Muggeridge.
Sorry, did Buckley had a lot of admiration for Muggeridge?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Muggeridge is sort of the villain of my piece, if you like. I mean, Muggeridge was kind of a contrarian. He changed a lot of his views over the years. But really in this, it was a personal vendetta. Essentially, he knew Ian Fleming's wife, Anne, before she married Ian Fleming. And when he first met Ian Fleming rather casually told him that he had been in line, Muggeridge had been in line to be the editor of the Sunday Times, which was, the most prestigious newspaper in Britain, but he hadn't got the job. And it looks to me like Muggeridge essentially held that against Fleming And especially after he died, within 4 months of him dying, Muggeridge wrote a really vicious article in the American edition of Esquire that was extremely personally abusive about Fleming. And Ian Fleming's brother, Peter, who was a very mild-mannered man, took the very rare step of intervening and saying, this is really not on. This is really quite outrageous.
Yeah, and I mean, I say the Muggeridge thing is interesting because even though he and Buckley, maybe I characterized that a little wrong, even though he and Buckley sparred, I mean, he wrote often about how much he enjoyed being on the same panel as Muggeridge, going back and forth with Muggeridge. He suggested he was a substantive guy, a thoughtful guy that was interesting to have discussions with. And the way you characterize him here is sort of below the bar that Buckley held him.
Yeah, and I think Muggeridge was a little bit erratic, and I think in this particular case, as I say, his personal feelings about Fleming got away from him. But yeah, there's no doubt Muggeridge was a very interesting, eloquent, articulate guy, and he was a fixture on British TV screens. He was one of the leading intellectuals in British public life at the time and became kind of a celebrity. I have an excerpt from his diary in the essay in which he, by chance, meets the Beatles when he's in Germany, when they're just starting out, and they recognize him. I mean, that's a very unusual thing that a public intellectual would be recognized by essentially a rock band as they were then. But so he was a famous intellectual. But in this particular case, this was really something that was personal with him.
How did Ian Fleming die?
Ian Fleming essentially died of hard living, I would say.
Yes.
He was told by his doctors to stop smoking and drinking so much, and he said that he would rather not. He was a hedonist. He wanted to live his life to the full, so he basically ignored them, and he died fairly young.
Do you think he drank more and smoked more and did other things because of all the critics out there? I mean, there
are some theories that say that a lot of this led to a lot of pressure on him and a lot of stress. But the truth is, I mean, even in the first novel, Casino Royale, published in 1953, it's extraordinary if you read it today that on the first in the first paragraph, James Bond lights his 70th cigarette of the day. 70th, not 7th. So wow. It was a different world.
Yes, shaken not stirred. The shaken not stirred world. Thinking about Bond, or thinking about Fleming and his Bond character, but then other great spy novelists I mentioned at the top, like Jean Le Carré and his George Smiley character. Those have been popularized because it seems like some of the criticism of Fleming, as you said at the outset, he became too popular. Well, Le Carré became very popular. He had his books optioned into movies and television shows. How was he treated when he gained that sort of infamy?
Yeah, that's an interesting point, that didn't really happen. Le Carré was seen more as being in the tradition of the intellectual, more in the tradition of Graham Greene. One of the ways that happened was that he joined in. I talk about this. He was interviewed by Muggeridge on the BBC, John Le Carré, and he joined in. They both kind of basically gave Ian Fleming a good kicking. So Le Carré was seen as the anti-Fleming. And although he was extremely popular, it was never to the same extent. I mean, we're just coming up now with the next James Bond film, No Time to Die, is going to come out. That's the 25th film in a series. There has never been a film series as successful as this. I think there's one of the reviews I quote from the 60s. There had been 18 million readers of Ian Fleming's novels at that point, or something. It was a huge success that even eclipsed Le Carré. So he wasn't really regarded as an intellectual. But one of the things that I think people got wrong with Ian Fleming is that his novels are a lot of fun, and a lot of serious critics have not understood that you can be taken seriously even if what you're doing is fun. It's something that people have understood with comedy. That people understand that Charlie Chaplin was a genius. People understand that Alfred Hitchcock was a genius. But for some reason, if you write thrillers that are fun, there is a little bit of a difficulty in thinking that they can be taken seriously. And Le Carré was more bleak, so it was taken more seriously.
Yeah, it's right. I mean, it's sort of the aristocratic attitude that if it appeals to the masses, then it must not be high art, right?
Yeah, it was complete snobbery, essentially, which is ironic because that was what they accused Fleming of.
And it has the popularity. I mean, as you mentioned too, that particularly as it makes the 25th iteration of a Bond movie on the silver screen, has that popularity the world over this extended period of time changed at all? Has it moved anybody in the cognoscenti circle on Fleming and his import to British art and history.
Not really. I mean, there have been pockets, but essentially this really solidified very early on the view of Fleming, and it's a kind of chain reaction. So I kind of show how one critic basically aped the critic before without bothering to read Fleming's work. They just kind of took on the same notes. Well, that guy said it, so it must be true. And that kind of, chain reaction has led up to today. There have been a few critics, Kingsley Amis notably. Fleming had a lot of admirers. Christopher Isherwood was an admirer. Philip Larkin was an admirer. Lots of people, lots of intellectuals actually were admirers. But essentially, no, because James Bond has become more and more successful. And unfortunately, in Britain particularly, we have, this tall poppy syndrome that, the more successful you are, the less seriously you can be taken. We want to cut people down to size, unfortunately.
How much of a chilling effect does that have, since you're a practitioner yourself? How much of a chilling effect does that have on young writers coming up to want to endear themselves to the critics versus perhaps pursue commercial success?
Wow, that's a very tricky question to answer. I don't know if I've had anything of that myself, but I think in the back of one's mind, I mean, I remember very early on when I was writing my first spy novel, and I was in a writers group, and one of the other writers in the group had scribbled a note on the first chapter saying, "This is very well written. Why are you writing in genre?" And I think there is a snobbery, a basic intellectual snobbery about writing thrillers that has not, people have not got over. As I say, it doesn't really apply to film. People can understand that Alfred Hitchcock was a genius and write PhD dissertations about that. But when it comes to literature, Le Carre, Graham Greene, and a couple of others accepted, people don't really see this as something to be taken seriously. So that probably does have an effect on writers choosing, whether or not they want to write in genre.
One of my favorite books, Graham Greene's Quiet American. Graham Greene was brilliant. Jeremy Dunn, British author of spy fiction and the history of espionage. Check out his piece, which I'll tweet out, on Ian Fleming. It's instructive beyond Ian Fleming, actually. Jeremy-Dunns.com is also where you can find it. Jeremy, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Attention maintenance coordinators. If you manage an industrial facility, then you know how critical it is to manage a consistent maintenance staff. During outages, when you're shorthanded, Vans has your back.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Whether you need one person for 8 hours or a large crew for a month, we can supplement your maintenance team. Our personnel are trained mechanics familiar with all material handling processes. Our expertise extends to fabricating, sheet metal, millwright, and ironwork jobs. Our men can work alongside your repairmen, or we can provide an entire crew complete with equipment depending on your requirements.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND to schedule your maintenance team. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANSindustrial.com. Vans Industrial, working safe since 1964.
That's one of my favorite parts of the day, and I'm doing it right now, having my balance of nature. I take warm water and open up the 6 capsules and drink that. It soothes my throat, the fruits do, and I'm telling you, my immune system is getting better. I was sick for a long time now, and I haven't since I started taking balance of nature over again. And also, I went to the dermatologist yesterday, and she said, my skin looks great, my hair's thick. What am I doing? She asked what supplement I was taking, and I said, I'm not. I'm taking balance of nature. So now I've hooked her up with balance of nature. And you can take balance of nature too. And now it's important to do it because everyone seems to have a cold or the flu, and don't even get me started on the coronavirus. You want to make sure that you are healthy, and 2020 is a year to do it. And right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. So start your journey to better health today by calling 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. They're not only operators, but they're also called coaches, and they'll answer any questions you have. 800-246-8731, or simply go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
Feel better and look better with the Vein Center of Orland Park. Whether you're seeking treatment for varicose veins, spider veins, or facial spider veins, Dr. Kiefner at the Vein Center of Orland Park is the vein specialist to see. The Vein Center of Orland Park is a specialty vein center offering the latest in vein treatments for your vein problems. It's Dr. Kiefner's private medical practice with over 30 years diagnosing and treating vein-related disorders for men and women. Dr. Kiefner is one of the most experienced vein specialists in the United States. Schedule an appointment today and see for yourself at veincop.com or call 708-460-8800. That's 708-460-8800.
This is Dr. Kiefner. With our experience treating vein disorders, I'm confident we can help you. Visit us at veincop.com, veincop.com, or call 708-460-8800. I look forward to seeing you.
What would you do if you knew there was a place to learn step-by-step strategies designed to help you make the right moves inside the financial markets? A place to develop skills that can help you generate income and build confidence toward your retirement goals. At Online Trading Academy, we know there's an investor in all of us, and we know how to teach people just like you the skills and knowledge that could empower you to take better control of your financial future. Start by taking our free introductory class at a location near you. Learn about the biggest mistakes investors make and how you can learn to avoid them. Plus, you'll learn strategies that could help you make your money work harder for you. For over 20 years, Online Trading Academy has been teaching students skills designed to help them learn to invest with the confidence of the pros.
Call 844-778-7132 for 2 free tickets to a class in your area and receive our Professional Insiders Kit with lessons from our top instructors just for attending. That's 844-778-7132. 844-778-7132 or visit otaclass.com.
Networks of the future are here now. Game-changing serverless networks with technology that's finally ready for prime time. Turnkey IT is ready to set up your business, increase productivity, save you money, and a lot of headaches. Imagine not having to purchase or maintain a local server in your building and continue using all the tools you rely on with Microsoft 365. Everything is in one place on the Office 365 cloud platform with all files and folders stored, backed up, and ready to be shared securely within your organization. Can your business go serverless? Turnkey IT can get you started with a free 5-point assessment to determine if your business qualifies, and it only takes about 2 minutes. Visit turnkey.pro today to speak with one of their team members to find out more and join the growing number of companies using the Microsoft 365 platform now.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
A systems analyst is wanted, responsible for design and implementation of client-server and system applications, as well as overseeing application architecture development and production support. Park Ridge, Illinois. Send resume to Peterson Technology Partners, Inc., 1030 West Higgins Road, Suite 230, Park Ridge, Illinois, 60068. Attention, Jay Johnson. Once again, send resume to Peterson Technology Partners, Inc., 1030 West Higgins Road, Suite 230, Park Ridge, Illinois, 60068. Attention, Jay Johnson.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy and Jussie Smollett indicted on 6 counts of disorderly conduct yesterday.
Jussie Smollett is his French name. He's a French actor, don't you know?
Sure, I forgot his stage name. Kim Foxx defending her handling of the case yet again.
I think the question about how the case was disposed of is the question that people have. We have an obligation to be transparent in everything that we do. And we dropped the ball in our transparency in the way that we handled this case.
You know, Kim Foxx, it's real simple, girlfriend. Just tell us who called you, who texted you to tell you to drop charges against Jussie Smollett. Because she kept saying all along, Dan, that, oh, well, we've done this before. Well, Special Prosecutor Dan Webb, unable to find similar past cases in her office. And of course, this is political. She was in front with a bunch of reverends from the South Side, and one guy, his name is Otto Moses III, jumped in front of the
Otis Moss III,
or that,
yeah,
jumped in front of her to defend her.
Attorney Fox's office charged Jesse Smollett, and it's very interesting that Dan Webb, at this moment, as we are about a month away from an election, is now offering charges. This seems very similar to when James Comey intervened in reference to the national election. And so we are seeing at this moment some politicization of this particular election.
Right, and that is a good example of why Kim Foxx is going to cruise to renomination in March and then re-election in November, despite having, and in part because she has 3 primary challengers.
If she wins, I may honestly move out of Cook County.
Okay,
This is not just a radio bit.
Okay, Alec Baldwin.
I'm moving to Canada.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to move to Mexico.
You'll lay back and enjoy it like we always do here.
No, I'm not going to sit back and take it. I'm going to pick a
yeah.
candidate. I'm going to put their campaign sign on my front yard.
And then what's going to happen? And then what's going to happen?
Then everybody's going to vote for that person.
Yeah.
It's going to be magical.
As I said, congratulations, Kim Foxx, on your renomination and future re-election in November to Cook County State's Attorney. We love it, and we love you, and we're going to enjoy 4 more years of it.
Thanks for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, who is a great writer of jingles and parodies. We appreciate you, but he has to work on the last one.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's a good
we'll
start.
tweak it.
It's a good start.
And then to Quinn McCarthy, who's Quinn McCarthy today?
You're the one handing out Beaumonts today.
Well, he's Kim Foxx's dietitian because she's lost a lot of weight.
Ooh, that was dangerous.
That was. Well, no, she has lost weight
Yeah,
for
you
the
saved
election.
that, yeah.
Thank God. Woo! All right, without any further ado, let's get into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Skies are beginning to cloud up. We'll have your full forecast in just a moment. And questions are being raised this morning over the vaccination practices of a late Evergreen Park doctor. Bulls lose to the Wizards. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.
New Hampshire Democrats felt the burn.